Initial jobless claims just coming out here higher than expected from last week on a week-over-week basis. 249,000 versus 241,000 expected there. Continuing claims number also to the upside, 1.877 million. Slight uptick, 1.858 million expected there. Challenger job cuts slightly downside, 25.8 thousand versus 52,000 expected there. Just keep in mind, coming up a little bit later on this morning after the open, S&P Global Manufacturing PMI data for July. This one, though, a little bit more closely watched. The ISM version of the same number will follow shortly after that at 10 o'clock as we get going here on the day after the Fed. We're back to the upside across the board, S&P and the NASDAQ, both about 0.5%. I guess NASDAQ a little bit higher now, almost 0.6 to the upside. There's a SPY, as I mentioned, 0.51. It was very volatile, not only after Powell yesterday going into the close, bit of a sell-off to end the day. It was kind of back and forth. And then, of course, we get Meta earnings. We get a lot of action, to say the least, in tech, specifically after the close yesterday. More to come, of course, tonight with Apple leading the way. We get Amazon and Intel as well. Big day.
Huge, yeah. Mobileye reported this morning as well, building on Intel. I was watching the futures last night into the evening there at around 8 o'clock, and we were breaking about 19,700, well off the lows that we printed midday. So it just shows you that volatility. So much to talk about. Jerome Powell basically all but saying that there's going to be a Fed cut in September, but basically saying, you know, he's not looking to one data point. He's looking at the bigger picture. Multiple reports as well coming out of Meta as well and doing well. ARM reported as well. Brendo, Qualcomm, lots to talk about today.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about that press conference, I have to say, yesterday. He's not one, or hasn't been one in the past, to be so leading. And he, as you said, you know, more or less came out and said, yep, September's the day. We'll get cut number one. I mean, the market already pricing that in as far as the Fed fund futures are concerned anyway. So 475 here, trying to hold as support for the Qs, guys. Right back to aftermarket highs here on the back of what an earnings batch we have, not only after the close yesterday, but this morning as well.
Yeah, good morning. And you know what? Remember the good old days when if you had an earnings beat and you gapped up, you actually maintained that beat, Qualcomm? So I felt like what was interesting about it, it was like last night, the aftermarket show was wild. You had up, you had down. Boo to you. I mean, Teladoc stunk, ARM stunk, but Qualcomm was absolutely rallying. And what's crazy is NVIDIA was going with it on sympathy. The good news is NVIDIA doesn't care that Qualcomm came back to the downside. Qualcomm's now down 1 point. Trust me when I tell you, it was absolutely flying, but it doesn't matter. Meta with the big report, certainly their cloud growth, their advertising growth, 22% looking fantastic for them. We'll get into that, but there is so much to look at. I feel like there's a few more bearish. Like yesterday was Pinterest was the one that was sort of obviously bad, and this is the one to look short. But today, you've got a whole host of ugly things. Teladoc, nasty. Mobileye, bad. Moderna, not looking too good. Although Moderna at least bounced off 100 the first time. We'll see if we can do it a second. So there's quite a few names which are going in the other direction alongside of ARM. Obviously, the chip names, doing really well. It's funny that AMD saved everybody but themselves. So selfless, AMD. After AMD earnings, all the chips went up, and AMD ended up weak. This is the market that we're in. It should be another wild one, and oh my goodness, aftermarket, we got biggies. Apple, Amazon. I know you mentioned Intel. They're not really a biggie anymore, but it's always good to no, but they move around. Like I think they've had multiple double-digit moves on earnings in the last year or so. So, it's there. But NVIDIA today will be a big one for sure. But there's going to be a few SSR 10% down plays today as well.
You got Teladoc A. Welcome everybody. It is a new month, so we're ready to go one more time here to. Yeah, August 1st started. Yeah, there's a whole bunch moving. I had written down Meta here at the trade that I really liked. And again, I laughed because I turn over to Sharif and I'm like, he asked me what I was looking at, and I was just like, just looking at a little bit of everything, looking at Meta, looking at some charts, I said, and then I wrote down, if this breaks 515, I think we definitely would like that. And then 2 minutes later, I flipped back to the chart and we were at 519 almost. Yeah. Super strong, man. I mean, congratulations, Meta shareholders. I mean, all of us, I hope, didn't wind up selling in that move down. But you're right back into another area here on the daily chart that, you know, could be something to potentially take advantage of the last couple days. I mean, what has really changed in this world other than, like Neil mentioned, we got a good report from AMD, not a great one from Microsoft. It wasn't bad. Still was down yesterday. And then now you get Meta up. Basically, I mean, you're up about 60 points here in 2 days, right? I mean, you were hovering around 460, 450. We got that low on that print from Microsoft. That wasn't great, right? Down there at 438, 440, and now you're all the way back to 516. Yeah, and there's some uncertainties in the world there. We had some warnings yesterday in the Middle East and things like that. So, I mean, I don't know if that's going to necessarily affect Meta, but, you know, it could be an area to think about taking something off on a stock like this, but I'm still looking long today. So, yeah, it should be a good one. Bitcoin, a little bit disappointing here. I mean, I thought crypto would go a little bit more than what it's been doing here, 32 and 65. So we'll see about that. And you know what just hit all-time highs? Everything resolving around gold. So right there we had gold. There's been a lot of, I mean, I don't know whether or not it's GLD hit all-time highs or not, but gold overnight prints an all-time high level. So right there, it's going, man. We really, really like GLD. We've had a lot of people on our show talk about diversifying and things like that, looking at gold, looking at silver, copper. So that, you know, sometimes that will signal something in the market that, you know, maybe equities might be a little bit over pushed here.
Spooky.
So we'll see what happens with GLD up almost 0.08.
Whoa.
Right now.
Slow down, GLD.
Why is this?
Randy's, okay.
I think it was bear yesterday, though, too. I think yesterday we had the mix.
Well, you know what?
We never changed it back.
We had it in a mix for a couple of days. What Randy does is if he sees the mix, sometimes he'll just flip it. So like one's a bull, one's a bear, and he'll just do it the opposite. And he doesn't really do anything.
Where's Randy?
He just likes to come by and fiddle with things.
He found that new barbecue joint, remember? That's what we're supposed to be checking out tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
So we'll see what's going on.
We'll see if that happens.
Going around town, finding barbecue joints, getting haircuts.
If he's here.
This Randy guy. He's here today. I saw his car, so. All right, yeah, I was going to look at Tesla, but I have Qualcomm, Meta, ARM. Oh, you know which other one? You mentioned it already, but Moderna. I mean,
oh my, $100.
This is going to be a really good talk here today, especially if we can break through 100. So that's definitely on my sticky note today is Moderna. I mean, I think that this is going to have some great opportunities. Fading it back to VWAP. I don't know, just a controversial space to begin with in the vaccine space, and now they're lower demands than possible. You know, we cheer for the technology because it's going to hopefully change the way we treat, you know, different diseases and you know, getting away from prescription drugs.
But I'm just saying.
But yeah, it's still. I mean, it was a high of what was the high there?
170.
60, 50, 60s. Yeah, like it busted through, then it made its way back up there, and then it's just been round. And, you know, this is what this can do. You know, the big days are huge days and the down days are huge drawdowns. So we'll see today down 15 points is Moderna. Now it feels a little safer to be in plays like Pfizer that are still pretty garbagey, but it's starting to go back up. I mean, look at that month it's had. What a month of July for Pfizer. I mean, nice move back up, and we'll see what can happen here. My play is I've been in AbbVie forever because it was a huge dividend, and it just really has been performing okay, but it's had some nice moves as well. And then I like the XLV, the healthcare sector, so that you can have the Eli Lillies and all these things bundled in there. Bristol Myers is on a nice little run up recently as well that I saw. I thought, did they have a good quarter? They did something good. Recently, Bristol Myers, huge. Look at this.
Yeah, they just reported.
Wow, recent. What am I even talking about, Sean? Wake up, buddy. It's 20%, 25% right there in the last 10 days. So Bristol Myers on the way up. And yeah, oh yeah, you mentioned this to me earlier. I did not even realize this.
Roblox, man.
It's Roblox. I mean, this is yeah. More Fabian says right there. But yeah. I mean, we're long Roblox here, 35 and change. We talked about breaking that through the 50 period at holding and going long. I talked about why. We talked about the summer months, everything like that. So this is 20% now. And I guess they had earnings, but this doesn't.
No, they did report this morning. They did have earnings this morning.
I'll take it.
I'm a little surprised by the action. I really expected Roblox to have done 1 million shares by now and be doing some crazy ham things. Instead, you've got some dark pool back and forth. It's up 4%. But I'm a little surprised. I kind of really thought if this was going to break out, it was going to really rally.
That makes sense that it reported because you have these huge wicks up
Crazy
here.
wicks.
I think it's game time. If I can get a 46 on this, I'll take that out. What the heck's up with your shirt there, Randy?
It's Uxbridge.
Shout out to my buddy
There
Rob
we go.
Davies,
Yeah.
the best lawn mowing guy in town.
Good, man. Good, man. Did you cut your hair too, or what? That looks nice up there, man.
Yo, that's
Yo,
pretty
you-
sweet.
Hey, I think that
I might have to hire him, man.
I'm telling you, nobody.
Ralph might be leveling up over here.
Ralph is he's
the original OG.
oh yeah, old school dog.
Wow, I had the lesson of the day one.
There you go.
So today we have the lesson of the day.
Where's
Brought to you still by Neil. Congratulations.
I haven't seen the Trader Stay Late one in a while. I
Yeah,
feel like someone hit it. Like maybe it ended up on the other
Smash
side.
it on
or
the ground. No, I didn't do that.
No, someone's hiding it.
All right, so new barbecue joint tomorrow. We
have to go today,
we've
though.
never had it before, though.
We gotta go today.
Why?
'Cause I'm off tomorrow.
What did I say?
Of course you're
I
off
told them. I
tomorrow.
said
What a
everybody. I
surprise.
said Randy's not going to be
Anybody
here
working
on
around
I knew
here?
he wouldn't be here on Friday. I said it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I told
Well,
you.
I hope I have the nasty egg salad then on my salad today, then I can.
We're beginning a lot of that.
All right, let me fire me off that menu now because now I'm getting excited about that.
Oh,
We'll
boy.
share it on the Beach Hill Smokehouse. Okay, we'll share it on the show here. We'll put it in a chat if anybody wants anything. Okay, excuse me.
We don't have
Coffee
Refrain
here.
today, no.
All right, well, nice for Roblox here. I think if it gets to that 46 level here, I think that's. Again,
No volume.
I actually forgot that they were reporting or didn't even realize it, actually, to be honest with you. So, yeah, into this area right now, I'm just watch out for that. So this is where we'll be looking, 44, 45. I will take some off of my position today. That's good, man. You get the earnings reports right into there. The talk for me was throwing through summer. Daily active users going on the rise. We'll have to read about the report right there. But yeah, Roblox, a nice little win as we go back over to the desk.
Yeah, we were just talking about Roblox as well. Decent move to the upside. There's not a lot of volume behind that. I just saw this one pop up as well. Oh, just be aware, on Roblox, the earnings call on right now. So there is a few comments coming through on Roblox. Here's Wayfair. Downside, another one moving around right now, also with an earnings call starting at 8:30 this morning. So a miss there for W.
Yeah, W, a bit of a tougher look. I'll mention Roblox real quick, even though the guys talked already about the actual price action. 22% increase year over year on the quarter for revenue. Their net loss also narrowed, so they were able to get costs under control. They achieved all-time highs in both daily active users and hours of engagement. I think it was like something like 3 billion hours. It was ridiculous. They also raised their full-year forecast, so good look there. And they're implementing AI moderation tools, which you and I talked about off camera, because I don't want people saying weird stuff to my children. With respect to W, Brendo, it was a good look here, but a bit of a tougher guide because the consumer continues to get squeezed.
Yeah, there's so much this morning. I was just noting Save as well. Spirit Airlines reported. Carvana, you guys mentioned. Moderna, you guys mentioned as well. There's also Hershey, HSY, moving around right now after they reported too. So W, there's Roblox, tons to look at.
Last time I was in England, I actually went to the Cadbury factory or warehouse or production plant. That was a lot of fun. I wonder if that still exists now. But
They call it. You got to call it a factory because Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So no matter what you're supposed to call it, it's just a factory. As
they
far as
were
I'm
showing
concerned.
some crazy things there. The production. This was like 20 years ago. So I don't know. Maybe
I can only imagine what it is now.
Again. I haven't traded Hershey in a hot minute.
To say there's a lot of things that are going around, Wayfair doesn't have what you need. And I'm now all of a sudden like, there's so many flat bottom breaks that it's ridiculous. Wayfair loses 47 at the open, and what do you see underneath there? Not a heck of a lot. Give me a lot of things that are down 10%. But I do feel like if there's like an SSR play, usually prioritize the one that's the company that most people are likely to buy and the company that probably has the best reasons to go up. So like ARM, I think under 10% is a better SSR bounce than catching falling knives and a bunch of nasty things. I'm glad that Roblox is having the earnings call right now because I think this gives us a chance to just get some price action, figure out what's going to happen. Because I like this 43 if it's going to break out. But for everyone that put out their bets yesterday on the closing price of Meta, now obviously I mentioned I had
like $3 off.
I had more than a couple in there, but I got $6 and whoops, there you go, $6.23. I'll take it. 24 would be better. But today it's obviously going to be Apple, so check it out. Check it out, guys. It is stonks.com every single day. You have the opportunity to bet. Can we get the QR code up there? Yeah, get your opportunity to get in there. Today it's going to be Apple, no questions asked. So you can win $1,000. Sean's got it up there. I wanted to show you. I actually won.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, I won. I won $2 with my one prediction there yesterday. We did it live on the show. I mean, Neil and I both put some predictions in there. I was at $499.75. I think it was $497 or something, or whatever the closing price was. But go hit that, man. Click that QR code. It's a lot of fun. Tonight's Apple, and it's whatever. You know what I was thinking about? There it is up on the board. You know what I was thinking about was like, if you did that and you were able to make $6 a day, honestly, $6 a day, you do it for 20 days, $120.
Latte.
You know, that's a latte a day. Keeps the doctor away.
Exactly.
And right there, you can grab that with stonks.com. And there's there's not the QR code on the screen. So that's we'll have to get that QR code on one more time for you, because you got to click this QR code. Don't just go to stonks.com. There's also link in description. Yeah, link in description as well. But this is the QR code right there to click that. So link in description and QR code right there. Get over there and sign up with our friends at stonks.com, completely free, and your chance to win a latte a day.
Apple, let's see what happens tonight. It's going to be a wild one. Everyone knows it's a Super Bowl of earnings. I think everybody was betting up on Meta. I don't think there were. Oh, I don't know. When I saw people. I mean,
Microsoft missed, Google missed.
I know, but I'm talking about what I saw people putting in the chat. Well. I don't recall seeing. I think I saw one person that mentioned that they had a down bet on Meta, and it's possible that people just weren't putting it in there. But we'll see what happens with Apple. There's no guarantees either way. It's not whether they will beat on earnings. It's where the price is going to be at 4:30. I mean, heck, Qualcomm beat. They're down 1%. They were up almost double digits. Now they're down. Roblox still not moving. I'm a little surprised by the lack of action here in Roblox, but maybe it's not the one today. There's a good thing there's plenty of other things to look at on earnings. And just to finish the thought on how nasty Wayfair is, in addition to some of these other names, I think you really have to pick your poison. You know, there's a stock like this, which is breaking at a pretty key level, and at the open, you could fail right away. If it fails 47 right away, you could go a couple of dollars. I mean, if Moderna breaks 100, like that could make a big flush. Like next support's down at 92, and that could happen right away at 9:30. Then maybe you're going dip buy hunting in NVDA, and it's got a sort of, I mean, I don't want to call it an obvious level. It's got a couple of semi-obvious levels. Anytime you have a Fed top high in here, usually like those, like 118 is going to stand out, that previous 117 area, which, I mean, Fed bottoms at 116. So there's a lot to look at 9:30. Always try to narrow it down to a few symbols so that you can be locked and loaded and ready to go. Love earnings season. Should be a good one, boys.
I was just looking at Snapchat here. Snapchat had a decent move, along with Meta, advertising platform as well. So this was after the close yesterday. Obviously, we're opening up at $14. Snapchat reporting after the close tonight as well. So earnings to come here from Snap, but up decently on the back of Meta's report.
Yeah, Brendan, we'll have to keep an eye to see if it was an isolated kind of report for Meta where companies are choosing to spend with them to the exclusion of others. We saw YouTube miss a little bit on its ad revenue, so I want to see if the same thing applies to Snap. Last time we saw Meta decidedly beat and Snap didn't do as well, so it's not interchangeable here. We'll have to keep an eye to see if they're able to garner advertising dollars.
You made a good point early on this morning. Remember, Alphabet led this off with the YouTube side of things, or YouTube revenue was actually a miss and was downside. So I guess they're all going over to Meta's many options. I just saw Uber pop up in front of me here. It's not really doing much, but there was a bit of an uptick there. $65 coming into play, which was yesterday's high on that BYD note, remember? Teaming up with BYD to bring 100,000 EVs to their fleet, primarily throughout Europe. Also going to be in Canada and Australia. The headline, though, Uber-backed Aurora falls as upsized $420 million stock offering is priced. But Uber upside here.
Yeah, good bounce for Uber. See, this is the thing about a flat bottom break. You know, it doesn't happen. It's a flat bottom break because it's a support level, ultimately. So, you know, as much as it can be trending down into it, and a break provides you with a lot of opportunity under, Uber decided 62.5. is going to hold on for dear life. So when you have something like this, I don't know if I see anything crazy. Yeah, like if it's not breaking out 65.5, like 65's here, but I would think it needs to get through 65.5 to take the next level out. So not much has changed here unless it takes out that high or you revisit that 62.5 level. I see there's so many earnings, like EVGO just reported as well. They're not a big one. I don't think they're going to be terribly exciting. But I think with 23,000 in volume, on a day like today, volume should be your guide a lot of times in the pre-market. If it's not doing excess volume or solid relative volume, then it probably shouldn't be on your radar unless it's just the most ridiculously good setup out there. Too many things to look at. And there's so many, like you can pick a sector and have 5 or 6 names that usually you'd look at. Today, you probably at least got one of them moving, and certainly in a week like this for earnings season. But yeah, unless Uber gets down to that 62.5, I don't really see it.
All right, so 2 days ago we had on our sticky note, and it was, I think still was NVIDIA was still number 1, but this could possibly was number 2. We waited for this to pop and then drop, and there was 64.50, and that's the level that we had written down. It went down to 60, maybe 62.80, something like that, and that was a nice drop there that day for Uber. So we're well versed in trading this name, and I just think that if you're going to look at it today, no volume. So yeah, it's a decent story there, but yeah, we either got to fade this 65, which I'm not thinking about going short today really, or we wait for a dip buy opportunity. So for right now, yesterday's close, you're right there. So I would look at yesterday's open, and that would be 64-ish. So 64, 63.80 if you can get a drop down there in Uber. But I don't think it's great enough news or any kind of a catalyst to break through 65.20. I mean, it could easily get back up through 65.20, but I'm just not 100% sure if that is the right play there for Uber today. So nice move up 1%, but limited volume. I mean, one little tick down here, and this percent changes, right? So, all right, that's Uber. Not much happening here. Lots happening with earnings plays. I actually wrote down today how big earnings were on the sticky notes out. Just how almost everything on here is besides NVIDIA are earnings plays. Meta, ARM, Moderna, Qualcomm. I mean, I think that there's going to be a lot to look at, and normally we don't do that. So we'll have a quick look, and people asking where the sticky note is. It's on Instagram, and might not be there yet, and on X. So go find it over there. Back over to the desk.
Quite a few names to talk about here, starting with Carvana getting this upgrade from Wells Fargo in a $175 price target. They had earnings, of course, so nice look for CVNA. First Solar getting this upgrade from DZ Bank. We have Meta getting a positive note here at a $600 price target from Jefferies Financial. And Reddit, this one is pretty interesting, getting an upgrade from Loop Capital, upgrading this one back to buy after downgrading it to neutral within the last few weeks, maintaining a $75 price target. So RDT interesting with this Loop Capital upgrade. On the downgrade side, Etsy kicking things off with a downgrade from Oppenheimer. They're down about 4%. As they continue to react to earnings. Western Digital, another recent earnings name, getting a downgrade here from Summit Insights. Voya getting a downgrade from Morgan Stanley. And last but not least, Truist downgrading Public Storage, guys.
Yeah, so Carvana, I think it was Sharif that was saying this morning, yeah, Carvana doesn't make any sense. You know, I think at the end of the day, if you try to be able to explain everything in the stock market with logic, you're probably going to hurt yourself. It doesn't really matter fundamentally what any of us think of Carvana. I think it's pretty simple. The short float's only 18% now. It used to be, I don't know, it was like in the high 30s or something like that. And probably that number has changed because of what this chart looks like. At some point, I guess a bunch of short sellers, but not all of them, realized that maybe this was a bad idea, and we're tired of getting squeezed like nobody's business, like a boa constrictor. So it's pretty simple. I think a lot of times, if you hold the breakout stop area, like if anyone's saying it on earnings, it makes a fresh 52-week high up here and holds it at the open, it's going squeezing. We have seen this before, however, where right after you make a new high, there's like a day or two, and then you get a bit of a pullback. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Carvana's done this before, where you make that big breakout, the next day or something, you get that red day. I have the cautionary tale on this. If it's underneath that 145, the previous high, no fight. You know, it's probably going to try and fill in the gap, and people realize it's not worth it. But if it is holding above, breaking out 150, I just look for joins. Try not to I'm not going to try to rationalize Carvana. It's either or. If I see it going, I have no problems joining. I'm not going to try to predict which direction Carvana is going. If it loses 145, it could drop $10. So I'm not going to be just sitting on a random bid in Carvana. It's not like dip buying NVIDIA, man. Like it's a very different game because there's people want to buy and own NVIDIA for a long time when they do a dip buy. People are looking to get out of Carvana for a quick profit. I'm assuming, at least that's what I'm thinking up here, if there is any kind of a bid. But keep eyes on it. It could easily be a squeezer today, no questions asked.
Oh, man. I just saw, my kid went to that Banksy thing. He got a little poster. He was loving that Banksy exhibit. Yeah. It was at the same place at the Interactive, the Van Gogh one was there. Okay, so that Van Gogh one was wicked, where you walked through it all. That was pretty sick. All right, so just quickly here on Reddit. Look, man, I mean, there's people smarter than I that called this a great breakout opportunity up here at 74, right? Then it faded back out, came back into the 50 period and actually took it as well, made it all the way back into $54. So, I mean, I don't know, ahead of earnings, but actually I'm not sure when RDDT reports. So we'll have to look at that. He's back again. Randy, you're back too early. I was going to pull up the menu. Hold on a second. August 6th. Ooh, thank you. And bananas. Wow, this guy's all over this right here today. August 6th. So that was the thing. So upgraded now ahead of earnings. Sometimes that's important to pay attention to. Back above the 50-period moving average. Randy, you use Reddit all the time.
Every day.
You like?
There it is.
I don't know if it's a great stock or not, but with AI and all that stuff coming through, I could definitely see Reddit becoming something. So
they got some revenue.
If not already, but there he goes. The guy who owns this is married to Serena Williams.
Really?
Yeah. So there it is. So I'm just full of random knowledge, not really. All right, back over the desk.
Real quick note on Roblox CFO Michael Guthrie to leave the company. That's just coming from the call. So CFO out for RBLX. We also got Chinese EV deliveries. Li Auto up decently this morning, not on a lot of volume, but 51,000 vehicles delivered last month for Li, up 50% year over year.
It's ridiculous. I mean, look, I'm not going to pound the table about Li Auto anymore. I'm done doing that. Lost enough money on that one. But the facts are that they're growing exponentially. So the 51,000 vehicles that Brendo mentioned, that's a 49.4% year over year increase on a total basis. Now, their actual total deliveries for the year, so you can kind of maybe compare them to Tesla, 240,000 vehicles, doing really well, but the political headwinds remain as they are, Brendo.
Yeah, tariffs always going to be the issue here, I think. I mean, we were talking about this BYD and Uber thing earlier on this morning, but again, Europe mostly, and then Canada and Australia for that deal between BYD and Europe. Is Randy still over there? Randy's still over there.
He's still there.
50,000.
Randy?
Fabian, over to the screen immediately. All right, so right now we're looking this up. Beach Hill Smokehouse right now. So this is what we're looking for. Smoked meats by the half pound. So we're, don't worry, we're multitasking over here, Brendo. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about all these cars in a second. We got more important stuff right now. So we got the brisket here. We got the ribs. We got the handcrafted sausage, the smoked chicken. So I don't think we're going to go with a sandwich, are we, Randy? I mean, so Randy pointed this out, but I was mentioning this. This is availability to change daily. So here's the burnt ends.
That's what we're going for.
So this is what we're going for. So you're gonna phone to figure out what is up with the daily change and if they can somehow make sure that this is available.
They got that mac and cheese
for us right there. Yeah, the sides look nice. So we'll get that all figured out.
There it is.
I'd be down with. Smoked baked beans or the loaded? Loaded.
Yeah, you want to do loaded.
I like the smoked.
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong either way. I mean, a good barbecue joint is going to have ridiculous sides. That's the
Jurassic Park cookout. Man, we gotta get this for everybody, man. Family cookout. Okay. All right. Look, I looked at Tesla. We got BYD on our mind as well. We talked about that the other day. BYD is a little hard to trade because it is on. It's not hard to trade, but you got it. There's BYDDY and BYDDF. Again, spread's going to be pretty big on this one. We talked about this the other day, looking like it was trying to hold out under the 50 period, trying to hold this 55, 56 level. So you have to wait for that one. We've looked at Rivian. We've sold Rivian a couple times. The Chinese automakers obviously is on our note today as well with Li Auto and XPeng and NIO. And I feel like one of the better things that I've done lately, because I don't think I'll regret this anytime soon, was selling Rivian at $18.55. Like, I don't even understand how we got that good of a price, because normally something happens and I wind up selling all the way down here and then it rips back up. But we actually got a decent price there for Rivian. After buying this $11 level, it'll continue to make these moves, right? And I think you got to take advantage of stocks like this when they have information and when there's something to report. And Rivian got a bump, and that was real good. Volkswagen news, battery talk, being able to finally produce enough cars to meet the demand. I mean, Rivian's never had a demand issue. Ford remains in the doghouse, under $11. It's crazy. The stock is at the same levels it was at 20 years ago, honestly. And then General Motors as well, hitting the curb right here to the downside. So a lot of these names just keep on getting hit. I don't think automotives is the right space. It's hard to lease out vehicles at these rates. It's hard to finance them at these rates. Even if the Fed cuts, oh no, you're going to cut 50 basis points by the end of the year. It's not a needle mover, man. You just went 500 points straight to the upside. So until we start cutting back half of that or something, I don't know if anybody's running out to buy any of these cars. So we'll wait to see what happens. Tesla on my mind, but not really at a key level. I like a 236 break.
Yeah, that was the issue with Tesla. It wasn't at a key level that I like too much. You know what's interesting is I keep seeing the same thing happen here on NIO. Like, obviously somebody's accumulating shares of NIO and not letting it go any further than 420. And maybe it's like a joke, or it is what it is. But like $4.20. And of course, now that I say this, the next time it tests, it'll probably break and make a fresh low. But it's for like the last 2 months now, because this started in June and now we're in August, obviously. But you see the same bottom. There was one little break, and then immediately that move, actually when it broke, is what took you into resistance close to $5. So I think 420 comes on the bid here on NIO, and I don't know. Heck, man, I don't even care who's buying it, what. It doesn't matter. It's just you see a level like that. And if you're hanging around at like lunchtime or something and nothing's really moving around and NIO happens to be basing out at $4.23, I might just go for like, hey, you risk 4 or 5 pennies and it's bounced here every single time for 2 months. So that's about the only Chinese EV play that I will remotely look at today. But you have these in the back of your mind. Sometimes you're sitting around at lunchtime and nothing you're trading is at a good level. But if you have something like this, you can go into scalp mode. You can do a little bit of something different from what you might normally trade, get a few reps that way. But just something that I've been looking at the last little bit, haven't actually made any trades off of it. Maybe a good day. I guess deliveries or any catalyst can take it down to that 420 level. And if the buyers start to show up again, you can do worse. If it holds for 2 months off that level, it's probably worth a shot. If you can get 10, 15 cents risking 3 or 4, it has to get there first, though.
My guess was $5.15.
Was it?
Yeah.
You were close.
I only won 30 cents. Did you play?
I'm going to play today for Apple.
Okay, right.
On the midday. Catch that, guys.
All right. Let's have a look at the market here.
Yeah, let's have a look. 55.59. We just closed above that 55.50 level we were talking about yesterday. That was a key area of technical resistance going back to July 19th. We are knocking on the door of 5,600 with the overnight high being 55.96. So let's use 55.50 as our support and 5,600 as resistance.
And I was just admiring the free fall of Moderna right now, but we'll get to that in a second. If you haven't done so, go down to the description of this video right now. There's a link there for the watch list. Make sure you click on that, enter your email address, and then you get that every single day for free from us. Yeah, 520. Wow. Coming into play right now. 9.3% to the upside here for Meta. Just took out session highs. Should we talk about this profit number? Because it's pretty eye-watering.
It's eye-watering, Brendo. It's ridiculous. All right, here it is. I'm just going to tell you guys the profit before I tell you the revenue. They took $13.5 billion home as profit. That's not revenue. That is not adjusted EBITDA. That is net profit. That's ridiculous. Revenue grew 22% year over year, almost 40 billion, around 39. Advertising revenue, obviously their number one driver, 22% year over year. Cost cutting is okay. They continue to lean out a little bit, still actually reducing the headcount at their offices. And Brendo, they want to have 350,000 H100s by the end of this year. So
Just keeps going, guys, here for Meta this morning. No stop.
Potentially here on tap at the open for Meta. It was 8.2 or 8 just under 8.5, I think, was the expected move. So you're just a little hair above that. A couple of maybe level. I mean, it is what it is. Like when you sit down, it was kind of chilling out in the 500, 505, 506, and then it broke out range. So probably stick a fork in 495. Not that I'm going to race the line. It just, that was the dip buy that made the most sense to me when I sat down. And up here at about 508 looked like a kind of an over-under at the open if it broke it out. Well, spoiler alert, it broke it out. So yeah, 508 comes back in. I kind of like that level for a bit of a dip buy in Meta. Off to the races for you, META. Nothing really bad to say about the report. I mean, if you get 22% ad revenue growth, like that's obviously a good number. A lot of cash going to be generated that way, and is what it is. Volume's going to be fantastic as well for Meta, so we'll look for some dip buys.
All right, just real quick here. I want to go over the sticky note, but first things first. So here's the sticky note here with Meta. Important thing to understand, we have a great promotion happening right now as well. The PIA, the private internet access. Trading on public Wi-Fi is obviously risky. Your data is too vulnerable. Make sure that you grab the PIA VPN, secures your connection with encryption, creating a safe tunnel for your data. Trade confidently from airports, coffee shops, trading floors, hotels, without worrying about hackers. PIA also lets you bypass geo restrictions, accessing trading platforms from over 91 countries in all 50 US states. Protect your trading with PIA. And by clicking that QR code right there on their screen, you also get 83% off at just $2 a month. What? Plus 4 extra months free. Sign up now with a 30-day money-back guarantee. They also have 24/7 support, rated excellent on Trustpilot. I mean, look at that. They even got our picture up on the screen over there. So that's I like that one. Yeah, $2 a month. I mean, I honestly, to become... Yeah, thank you, PIA, for that. But yeah, no, grab that promotion. That's an unbelievable $2 a month. I don't even understand that. So go grab that right now. All right, so here's Meta. Look, I have it $500 looking. I think if we get that, that's not going to happen. We write these down. Why does it say meta.ny on there? We write these things down earlier. And then I said, and I already told this story, I like the 515 break right here as well on Meta. How great had that level been? I mean, it broke it. It went to 518.50, came back to 515. So I still think that level plays. So scratch to 500. It's not going to get down there. I mean, that's where the 200 period was. We're just writing down the levels that we like. And then right in there, 515 right now looks like the spot. We always like to play stock back to VWAP. So even if you get a 515, I would still not dump that until you get to 512-ish. I think that would be sort of the spot where you get a little worried, where we start to trade underneath volume-weighted average price. Again, the reason why we use VPNs is one reason. The reason why we use VWAP is because right now, volume has been steady in this name. So I'm not going to use volume-weighted average price on an Uber that doesn't have a lot of volume or on names that don't move in the pre-market. But when Meta's moving like this, it's virtually open right now. It's going to get a lot more spicy as we get open, but good volume. I like that price. So I would say 515 for dip buy opportunities. Remember, though, this name can move and has moved $30, $40 in a blink of an eye, right? Not just because that was earnings, but even yesterday, this moved down 570, 475, 470. That's $5 in 10 minutes right there, right? Little choppy, but that bottom yesterday that hit at 945, 466. That upside 475. This is pre-earnings, right? So we do have a lot of capabilities here. It would not surprise me if we did dip down into this area off open, as a lot of traders celebrate. Again, I talked about the stock that minted the most millionaires. I feel like it's been Tesla, then probably Meta, and of recent note, NVIDIA. Hey, guess what percent of NVIDIA... Close, Brendan. Guess what percent of NVIDIA share employees have net worth, or they've selected net worth over 20 million, Neil?
I have no idea, so I'm not going to venture a guess.
Right, so I said guess, yeah.
Let's go with, I don't know.
20 million.
20. 20 million
net worth.
I don't know, 8% of employees.
Yeah, it's 36% of employees. There you go. I mean, wait till this.
Always take that
Wait
profit,
till this
though.
TVL stock starts vesting. You know, then we'll be out of here real quick. What an amazing number. Just work at NVIDIA.
I heard 75% from the desk.
All right, let's go back over to the desk.
The note I saw was 75% of employees with share or stock options had a net value of over 1 million.
Wow.
So lots of millionaires created, period, by NVIDIA. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Roblox, $42 comes and goes on the way back down here once again. So just 0.65. We give it all back. Again, the call possibly still on here. It started at 8:30. I'll double check for the last comments coming through, but still beat.
Yeah, still beat. Kind of mentioned this on the rundown. 22% increase year over year on revenue. Net loss narrowed, so they actually printed a wider loss last year. They only lost about $205 million as they look to get to profitability. They did achieve all-time highs in both daily active users and hours engaged. It was a ridiculous figure, like something to the tune of 3 billion hours on the quarter, something like that. Raised its full-year net bookings as well to about $4.25 billion to about $4.25. That was above the street's expectations of around 4.
Yeah, it was about 10 minutes ago. We got that CFO note, again, Roblox CFO to leave the company after this quarter, guys.
Without knowing too much about
the
quarter right now, it just came through. Come on, charts, let's go. So we already sort of talked about this. I feel like, when you do have a nice little profit here, especially if you're long swinging it, sort of like I was into the end of the summer. We just came up to, let's just talk about it as a trade, not about as an investment right now. So, but at the same talk, I think we've just hit a nice level here. You go all the way back to May of 2023. I mean, you're back into April of last year, and then this is the quarter now that they just put out. So this is July of last year, and then that sort of created this to happen, which I don't know. I guess I have to go back and figure out what was going on there. So not a great quarter last time this year, but now, again, makes that crazy move up there. It did, I think it printed up there. I mean, that was just some algos going off. I feel like a realistic price would be $42, 40, 43, something in here, 44. So I think that's a good fade area if you did want to fade something. We looked at this before. It was up 3%. Now it's flat. It's still 3 times what the market's doing. Volume's okay at 826,000. We just said that on earnings, we like to use VWAP. So if this was a negative report and the stock wants to go down, let's let it tell us that. Right now it's up 1%. I'm fine with that. I would say leave it alone until you can understand this a little bit better. Yesterday's bottom looks like 41.40. So that will come into play right away off the open. So unfortunately, my chart is skewed here. There has to be something that's way, way off. I don't think it's these. It must be because $38 down there, 46. So we'll fix that chart. But at the end of the day, 41, watch out for that to slip up because if it loses that, then yeah, you probably do have a push at least to 40. It's earnings day, man. I mean, anything could happen. So right now, Roblox up at 1%. I would say play VWAP and maybe even break it long. Break the pre-market high of 43.50 could be a play as well right there. But that has to come in, right? So we'll find out about Roblox. Let me just check if there's an early imbalance. There is not. So no early imbalance on Roblox as of yet.
Yeah, this is 100% a let it settle down one. Don't want to predetermine anything because it has just a very defined range. You got 42 up here. I mean, I think if you're holding above that, maybe breaking out like a 43 from the daily chart. And if you can't do it, I get 41.5 is kind of a big level, it seems like. And if you lose that, you're down into 40. So inside of where it is right now, 41.5 to 42, that's a no-fly zone. So many things to look at today, let's be real. We know Meta is going to be in play. We know ARM we'll get to in a quick second is going to be in play. NVIDIA every single day is in play. And then you have these big-time down movers, Moderna, oh goodness, and Teladoc as well, that are looking pretty ugly. Wayfair as well. So I don't know if I'm going to be trading this Roblox. I thought if there was a definitive move, where it looked like you'd get a double-digit kind of continuation play, I'd be all over it. But at 1%, disappointed in you, Roblox.
The one looking very similar here. QCOM, after the close yesterday, nice move higher, but we give it all back during their earnings call. Set to open lower now, down 2.5% despite a beat here for Qualcomm.
Yeah, this is a bewildering one. It must have something to do with the call because basically the report here did not preface that at all. Earnings per share beat expectations. Adjusted revenue about almost $9.5 billion. That exceeded expectations of 9.5. They did issue strong guidance, so unsure what's going on there. Handset sales grew 12% as a potential recovery in cell phone sales. This is so confusing. I was talking to Dara off camera about this. Sometimes you hear certain manufacturers say cell phone sales are strong. Some others say not so much. They also have automotive revenue. They're providing chips to the automotive sector. That surged 87%, Brendo.
Not bad. Just reading this quote from the CFO on the call, warning of trade curbs overshadowing QCOM's optimistic forecast. So they're just pointing to the possibility of downside because of trade restrictions.
Everyone's worried about China and all of this. And all this trade talk, like you coming out on the good end or the bad end of all of these trade restrictions, right? Like you saw most positive news for ASML the other day when presumably because they're an ally, they're going to be able to export to China. They went like 10% at one point. Qualcomm, if that's the reason you go from like booming in the aftermarket to down 2%, it is what it is. You know, you can't really do anything about it. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a good or bad earnings. There's just what the market does and what the stock does. So if you look at the Fed number, well, I mean the Fed move, you had a triple bottom here at like 173.5 on Qualcomm. I think that's like that Alamo here today. If it can't hold on to this, I think it looks pretty nasty. And then up top, just what was resistance before? It needs to get through like 183 up there. So I think, looking for a bit of an inside move. If it was befuddling to the market, aftermarket, and then here, then I think you're respecting something like that 183 up top is going to make sense. I'm going to try to pivot to NVIDIA quickly here because we don't actually have any other. NVIDIA's not on there, so it is what it is. But NVIDIA already starting to pull back. There weren't any imbalances, as Sean mentioned, so it is pulling right back into.
Tanking.
Yeah, the market's tanking. NVIDIA might see that Fed bottom, which was not here. Let me just get that right. It's down here at 116. Was the post 2 o'clock dip and rip at 116. So that's a pretty key level there. Obviously, NVIDIA 120 as an even dollar breakout is not going to be in play anytime soon. Although, NVIDIA can get there, certainly. But not right now. Looks like it's going to test 116 first.
Yeah, so we wrote down a bunch of longs here today. But you know what? Now that I think about this, it is going to be that post-Fed hangover. I mean, we were up 3% yesterday. The Fed really didn't say anything other than looks like they'll probably go in September, which I think the market already priced in. So you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, Qualcomm's not going to get to 184. It's not going to get close. And again, we had wrote down all these levels earlier when Qualcomm was up here. I thought we could break through 184. It looks better on a couple different charts here. It was this 20-minute chart that I was looking at Qualcomm for. And I just thought that, like Sharif said, like Neil said, we were starting to fly there yesterday, and then the pullback as they digest. So I sort of thought that if Qualcomm would have gone, and the market was up 0.6, right, when we opened the show. It's going to be flat here by the time we open. So it's a nice little pullback in the market, and Qualcomm's going with it. If the market had held up and we were in and around this 180 or even up a little bit even higher, 181, 182, then I thought a run to this level could be into play again for Qualcomm. But we just have to go back to the drawing board now because it is making that move down, now down 3%. Looks like it wants to get worse and worse. Like we said, mixed messages sometimes about these handsets, right? Are they selling a lot? I mean, ARM is at 99%. Why is my screen always flicker? I mean, I know you guys catch that on the show too, but it's weird. Anyways, Apple coming tonight. I think Qualcomm might be hands off a little bit. We'll see. Down now 3% and still going lower. Look at the market. The market's going back in. Maybe we'll have to look at the TQs and whatnot to see if there's a trade here in the futures because I feel like the futures go red. They might stay red today. That's just something there. Maybe I have to upgrade my platform. All right, let's go back over to the desk and talk about, another one, ARM. I kind of want to, we'll talk about this when we get there, but I think ARM is going to get into a buy zone sooner rather than later.
It's going to be SSR.
Down big time right now, 12.25% so far for ARM, coming back into that pre-market low right now as the market, as Sean was mentioning, making its way lower. But another one pointing to weak guidance here looking forward for ARM?
That was it. It was a guide because everything else was good. So revenue about almost $1 billion, $940 million on earnings of 40 cents a share. That surged about 39% year over year, beating analyst expectations. The Q2 outlook, that's a sticking point. That was below analyst expectations. They're guiding 780 to 830. Street didn't like that. It looks as if it might be royalty revenue fell short of analyst expectations. Recall, they make money two ways. Licensing and royalties are not the same. Royalties missing the mark.
There's volume behind this move this morning as well. Already over 1 million shares traded here for ARM today.
You want to trade things like ARM, focused on the U.S. market. It's back, everybody. The campus program here at Real Trading. Just go right over to realtrading.com/campus. This is for anybody that is in Canada and wants to join this program. Trade on the same platform that Sean, myself, and the entire team trade on. You have a simulator, you've got live, it's a professional trading platform. You're going to learn how to interact with the market basics. You'll have a live community, guidance the whole way through. This is something that is time flexible. You're going to be able to have like your side gig. We've talked about this before. It's just a few hours a day, but you've got to put the time and effort in. It is absolutely free, so don't miss this opportunity. Anybody that's interested, come here, just click apply, check out the website. It'll tell you everything you need to know about the entire structure. It's a fantastic program to learn trading and how to become a professional trader, just like you see everybody here on the show do. All it requires is your time. So it'll be in the chat as well. I know Bears versus Bulls is going to be on there, letting you guys know what the site is. And I feel like there's going to be more than a few real traders that want to trade ARM today. And I think you can't go wrong looking in a couple of directions here. One, obviously the guide not good, already underneath 150 and failing. I get that. But you have some pretty big levels. You're going to be SSR, short sell restricted today. So it means you can only hit the bid if it opens here, if there's an uptick to go short. You got that big 120 level where everything fell apart before. That seems like an obvious area to look for an SSR bounce. If it gets there, 125 obviously is a pretty round number. If you do make the bounce play, I want to be ready. I think the low 130s in here to 135 is probably a fade. So there's going to be opportunities in both directions on ARM. You're going to get great R-vol here. But I think the first look for me is if it gives you that SSR bounce. The 1/4 is obvious. The 120 is a fundamental level anyways. And I think I'd probably be trying to play a bounce off of it. So ARM, yeah, that's on the radar today for sure. Here at Real Trading, we have locates on it, so we can go short. Cost 1/8 of 1 cent to get those locates today.
All right. All right. Yeah, I was just looking. I had to go get shorts for this. Pay for shorts for this as well. Very, very cheap again. Right. There's a couple hundred shares cost like 50 cents. All right. So, oops. Okay, my level 2 changes, but my chart takes a second to enter. So that's maybe, you know what? I have to upgrade, I think.
It's a feature.
It's a feature, yeah. All right, so look, again, market just coming in pretty good here. I like the long again in ARM. Like, you know, when we came in today, market was up. I thought we were going to go for the long side of things there on ARM. So, you know, the sort of the dip buy opportunities that we were just talking about. I mean, Neil mentioned 120. I think that'd be a great area as well. You know, we've already broke through this 130, so now at this point, down 12%. I mean, yuck. I'd rather dip buy NVDA than ARM today. You know, off earnings, again, I don't even know if, like, why does nobody talk about SoftBank anymore? Like, I didn't read the report. Maybe they did. But again, like, you know, when are they selling? Where are they selling? Have they been selling? Do they have more to sell? We saw the Jeff Bezos effect happen on Amazon, so I still think that that's a story that we don't discuss enough. But if you look right here, 120, as Neil mentioned, those were the areas that I was talking about as well when I said ARM is getting into some spots. So, I mean, if it gets down there, you're down 17% or something. So we could see if that happens. I don't think that that's out of the realm. But now that we're really giving us our direction, it's a 130 fade. That's why I just paid for shorts right there. I wasn't even looking short to begin with, to be honest with you. But I'm thinking right there, 130 or so, right back to VWAP. I mean, that's the trade that I make all the time. So why am I not going to make it today? So let's do that on ARM. It's 924 right now. So we're going to get some of the imbalances on the NASDAQ in just a minute. That could send ARM one way or the other. The one thing about it is the last 2 days, I made it back on NVIDIA. But Tesla, I got hit in the pre-market because it came into 232, and I thought that was a great level. Next thing I know, I'm blinking and it's at 226. We wound up getting out. We got out when it flushed through 230. But the end of the day is I sit in front of something in the pre-market, and sometimes those prices aren't as great as you think they are, or if they are great, it still takes 5 or 6 minutes for it to flush out the buyers and the sellers. So right now, I was just, and the reason why I say this is because we're trying to learn together here. I was about to put an offer right now at 130. Then I thought to myself, what if this imbalance comes out, right? And it's coming out right now. And what if it comes out the other way and just rips up here into 130 and rips my face off because it just wants to keep going upside, right? So right now there's the NVIDIA buy. We wrote down 118 for NVIDIA. That's right where it is right now. That's one of our, NVIDIA's been my top stock the last couple of days. So right there, that's going to be a level that we're going to look at now. There's Google with a sell. So that probably starting to go the other way on this. Yeah, so there it is. So there's the, let me just put this way so you can see. There's the tick down here just on that imbalance. Snapchat, we can go over that in a minute, but there's only 2 big names on here right now for the imbalances. It's Google and NVIDIA. So yeah, man, I mean, NVIDIA just bounces off of 117 pretty hard. I liked 118 on this level because it was yesterday's close. So we closed in here around 118, got a nice little bump there throughout the after show there and into this morning, but still up 1.26%. NVIDIA holding real strong in a market that's about to turn red.
We'll wrap up with Moderna. The free fall has slowed slightly, but still 16% here on a miss across the board. The net product sales here a problem, $3 billion to $3.5 versus forecast of $4 billion. Forecast itself not good either. For Moderna getting crushed here today.
Absolutely, Brendo. It was a revenue beat. They printed about $240 million in revenue on the quarter. That was ahead of analyst expectations of 132. But that's where the good news ended. The loss, $1.28 billion. That was a bit better than last year. It was about $1.38 billion. Earnings missed, EPS missed the mark. COVID vaccine sales continue to drop. Full year guidance got cut, as you mentioned. The only silver lining here, I guess, sales growth. Potentially because they have a pipeline of about 45 drugs. We'll see how many make it to market, though.
Yeah, it sliced through $100 downside initially, but we're trying to hold right now back at 100, which you got to go back to March, April of this year to find.
Yeah, I think this might be one of those, hey, you're at 100, you already broke 100 and got to 98, and you're right back at 100. So if it doesn't break the low, I guess it could be a bounce play that I don't want to stand in front of unless we get something around the 200 periods at 105. So a pop and fade is in that range. It's a wide range because it could go 5, 6, 7, and I would still think I want to be shorting the pop on mRNA. And I feel pretty similar about Wayfair here. Wayfair is rebounding a little bit after you're only down 10% now on Wayfair. Obviously not a good report for them, but if it can't get back underneath 48 and break it down, I guess that short. If you had it in the pre-market the first time, really early on light volume, great for you. But unless we get back underneath, neither one of those is going to set up as well as it did before. So NVIDIA, ARM, Teladoc was the only other one we didn't talk about that was really, really bad this morning. Don't want to look at Blue Ocean because we're not trading in the aftermarket. We're going to trade the market at the open. Teladoc is just fresh lows. Every single print underneath the bottom is going to be a fresh low for Teladoc. There's no point going over the report or anything like that. I just look at this 830 to 840. That's where it tried to bounce to in the aftermarket. If it starts to fade up there, all the really bad names that are down, just want to be patient. Don't want to stand in front of a moving freight train. But unfortunately, it's going to be ARM right away at the open. It's going to be ARM. It's going to be Meta. It's going to be NVIDIA. All of these are in play, just like Pinterest was. But ARM, NVIDIA, Meta, those are the 3 that I think I have the most focus on. Don't want to sleep necessarily on something like an Apple, but we'll get to that one. I still like Apple in the general sense, but buying a trend up when Apple goes with the market has been a good way to go. But I think those 3 are going to be on the radar, and then possibly we'll see about that Moderna at 100 if it can hold underneath.
All right, so Moderna at 100, yeah, for sure on my watch 105. Look, we wrote down here on Meta, 500 long. That's not happening. 515 break did happen and held. So far, so good on that. We'll hit the bang on that one, pre-market trade if you like to. And then I said 525 is in play. So we wrote that down when it was at 512. Right now, you're going to open up at 522. So that's $10 straight to the upside there for Meta. So it just gives me more confidence, although these levels have broken. It's just what we've been reading and the tea leaves there have been very, very green. So we'll hopefully be able to continue some of that rally through. It's NVIDIA that I'm looking at right now because that's making moves lower right now, despite being up almost 1% earlier. Then it gets that sell imbalance, right? So watch out for that with only 10 seconds left now before open. Maybe NVIDIA gets to that like 114, 115 area, maybe, and then we can buy some more. All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. We're now open, so thank you very much, Adara, for that one. We are sponsored by Real Trading Campus today. Make sure you scan that as the campus program is back on, baby. So you guys can become part of the team here at Real Trading. All right, here comes 525 like ASAP. Meta just touched out at 523.
Oh, Moderna's all
and wants to go. So yeah, Moderna's just tank city or what?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was very, very fast on mRNA. You got to be kidding me.
Oh no, the spread is still $1.50.
Yeah, that was wild. No, it broke. Anyways, I got to get a stop back over 100. So it broke, took out the low, was at 97, and then right back into 99. So wild, wild price action right off the bat for Moderna. If it gets like it's an over under at 100, man. Like it broke the bottom. If it broke the low, looking short. If it breaks back above 100, I'm going to be getting out of Dodge. ARM is chilling. ARM's starting to come up to the upside as well. So ARM is at 131. So watch out here. It looks like ARM wants to make a bit of a rally. Stops in there. We'll get to ARM. It's pushing into the tops. You got 133 up top here. We do like this for a fade play here on ARM. So a lot of action so far at the open. If it's not the futures, a lot of names are moving around. Apple just dropped $1 at the open as well. So bad stocks trying to press a little bit, and good stocks going down?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. Well, it's like I said, yesterday was such an incredible day. I mean, NVIDIA was up 12%. So I could see some definite fades. And what's going on today is AMD playing that catch-up game. AMD is up quite nicely right now. See, hit my button. All right, so there goes AMD. Look at that move, man, up 1.3%, almost straight up. To the upside goes AMD. I'm going to stay away from that one until a long pops in. I was looking at Meta as well, so we can find out Meta here. Pulling back into VWAP. I mean, maybe worth a shot here. All right, where did we have to cross into to get that fill, though? 516.25. So there it goes. Right now, we are now instantly, guys, in the money right there. That's your first Dollar Club winner. But then the tank happens. Watch out right now for Meta. Remember, it's earnings, and we were like, okay, on earnings day, we could expect some violence in the name for Meta. We'll take a little bit out there at 515, 516. Now let's see if we can get back into that 517, 518 area right now for Meta as it's trying to go. But the spread is big on this name, so be very, very careful. There it is. We take $1. Now there goes Meta. Now it's $2. Wow. Let's see where we can go on that one. Good trade there on ARM.
No, it's not ARM.
Moderna. Sorry, Moderna.
ARM is flying to the upside. Right there, Fabian. So it broke 98. It just bounced hard 95 with a massive buy order there at the 95. It's short sell restricted. So if it's a level that I would normally be trying to take a bounce, and it goes there with a bid, I'm going to get out and look for a short to pop. I'm not going to get any more shares at 99 there, but ARM is absolutely flying. So I have to quickly pivot over. It just went right up into that 134, right in here. So 34, 35 is where we like to curl. It's done a bit of an SSR bounce already, but this is insane price action over here on ARM. Didn't quite get to 125 even, but if it's going to give you the curl, this is where we wanted to try to grab it. NVIDIA does not get to 116. It just bounced at 117, so I guess it's 117 is back.
We're $3 in the money. We just took it again. We'll promise you to find another one. But this is every day. This seems to be when you're looking at the right names, you can hit these. So we just take another piece out right there. We just got 518.80s right there on Meta. 518.90s, man. So far, so good there as Meta continues to rip to the high side right now. It's one trade. It's the banger. It's Meta. It's Adara.
Earnings name on watch here, EVGO. This company is EVgo. It's an EV charging related company. They did report in-line GAAP earnings per share and a sales beat. They also raised their guidance. EVGO up almost 17% right now. Worth noting as well, they have a market cap of around $1.16 billion, 9.9% short float. Keep an eye on this name, guys.
go. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, but I mean, obviously there's other things to fry. Big spread still on ARM. It curled at 134, just got to 132. We'll try to let it calm down. Maybe we can retest this level and actually get into position on the way to the downside. TDOC was another one, but there's no chill in sight for this. So it's at the 850, but I'm not seeing any signs of weakness. Going to jump away from that one for a hot minute. Get on over to NVIDIA. The market's trying to make a bit of a, there we go, trying to make a bit of a bounce. Right through 117 and back above is NVIDIA. So if you want to join, right now 116.5, 117, we get a chance to maybe go back into that level. We'll go for the dip buy in NVIDIA. Just one trade for me right now was Moderna 98 to 95, and now we're looking for some NVIDIA dip buys, up 1.3% while the market is flat. Clearly, there's a strong one here with NVDA still.
Yeah, great trade there on Moderna. But right now, it's all about the Meta show for me, man. We are in ARM right now. We're going to watch out to see what happens with Meta. I mean, there it goes. It's now $3 again in the money. But again, you got to watch out because the spread, once it opens up, right? And so this could easily rip back up to that 5 area, 520. There it goes. Now we're $4. You see that? That's what we're talking about, Patrick, and everybody in behind us. Now it's $4 in the money off Meta. And again, we wrote down this level 515. It touched 515. We're long at 515.50. That's $5 now in the money off of this posted level right there. Also Moderna, I mean, we just obviously will make a lot more money here on Meta than Moderna for us, for me. But, you know, I probably would have got out of Moderna there as well. I mean, that move continues to make those moves downside. But again, it's the same thing. The $100 Moderna break we had written on here is $5. And it looks like Meta tried to get above that 520 there and then missed again. So we only have about 25%, not about, we do have 25% of this Meta trade left back on. ARM's pulling into 130 right now, so let's see what that does on ARM trying to get going through that 130 level. I believe that was a call again for Adara.
Immuneering trying to push to new day's highs here with strong volume. IMRX, this is a small cap, around $35 million market cap here. They announced their IMM 104 treatment was granted fast track designation from the FDA. So FDA designation here for IMRX with a short float of 9.9%, guys.
Meta, so you take your profit, then you take your lumps, and then there goes ARM right now as well. We'll fire off the hot dog cannon. It's a $2 winner for your boy now on ARM. So we just change our look completely there. We do get stopped out of Meta breaking through that level, but there goes ARM, baby. There's $2 in your pocket for ARM. So that is a good little trade right there. $2. Let's go $3 now for ARM as we're trying to make that move right back there to the upside. It's ARM. We're long at 130.50. We gave you this trade. I hope you guys took this one as well. It's a nice move upside there for ARM.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I just went 50 cents in and out on ARM, trying to punch Teladoc short, and I punched ARM in. So we got in and out of ARM. If you don't mean to be in the trade, get out of the trade. 100%. But I had a couple of level 2s dedicated to pop and fades. One of them was TDOC. One is ARM. I am in Teladoc now. Randy, I'll take one if you can grab another one. I appreciate it. But 855 happened here on Teladoc. It's a crazy wick to 880. We wanted to wait till 850 to be able to get into position. It just came back down underneath the 50s. VWAP sits at 15 or 10, sorry. So we're going to get some halfway out there. And if we can press all the way back into VWAP, we'll take it. Moderna is pulling right back in. It might double tap 100. So it's pushing back. It bounced 95. There was a heck of a buyer. I think it's a short sell restriction bounce here on Moderna. And if that's the case, let it get into VWAP, let it get into the 100 level, and then we'll work from there. Here, we didn't get any chance at a dip buy yet in NVIDIA. No retest of 117. This might just break out the top. If that's the case, maybe look at a 119 breakout here on NVIDIA.
All right, guys, despite taking that hit on Meta, it's a monster day again right here as we go $3 now in the money on ARM. We knew we liked that long. We're long right now at 130.50 on ARM, and there it goes. Did I say $3, Neil? We meant $4 right now on ARM as it gets right back up into those levels, man. Oh, wow. We are, June, July, August. Let's just forget about what the month is. Let's just keep it rolling right now to the high side. Boom, there's the $4 take. retake right there on ARM. It's a big one. Are we waiting for Adara? Then let's go over to her immediately, and then we'll talk about our $2 winner on Meta.
Shaping up to be another strong day here for LUMN Lumen. No news on this one, but just to summarize some of the details for this name, we do have a market cap of $3.2 billion, so larger market cap, larger float as well, 992 million share float. We do have a short float of just over 13% and lots of social media attention. So some details here in LUMN as it tries to make a new day's high, guys.
All right, guys, boom, 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 boom. Here it is, guys. I don't normally have big, huge mornings or anything like that. But right now, it's big. It's big, it's going, and it is fan-damn-tastic. Look at that dip buy there on Meta. It's a monster right there. We're going to go 2 for 2. $4 in the money on Meta, $3 in the money on ARM. The party continues, man. I don't know. I just hope you guys are just on all of this. And it's been absolutely fantastic. I hope some of the guys and everybody looking at this behind me and some of you guys watching as well. It's been quite the run, and we're just going to keep on doing it. So, I mean, ARM right there at 135. Are you kidding me? That's the level that we posted on there right now. So, I mean, we continue to rock it over here, and we'll just continue to look for better opportunities and more opportunities, as I think Meta has a great opportunity to get right back in there right now. So here we go, man. It's a big, big upside move, and it's been good. There's 2 positive traders right now. It's been a tough morning. Let's see what happens with Meta. Let's get upside right now with Meta. $5 in that money right now. But we are out, honestly, guys. We have 20% left of ARM, and we have half of our Meta from this area. But we did lose early on Meta as it dropped through, but then we found that bottom, and now we're holding, Neil, $8 in the money right now.
Yeah, great move on Meta there. A couple of points to the upside there. I got a breakout set for change of plan on NVIDIA. If we're not going to get the dip buy at 117, got to stay locked and focused. It's a higher low into a top break at 119. We want to see if this one can trend up. The market is screaming to the upside, so it looks like it's about to break it out any second now. I still do have that T-Doc short, and Moderna's making a run, not for VWAP, but for the low again. So I might not get a shot at VWAP. That's in and around $98 on, this is what I'm looking at here for Moderna, around $98. I'm still looking for pop and fade in this name. We need to get back in that 98 where we had it before. The next trade feels like it's about to be NVIDIA. So I want to be on this level too. If we get the breakout, great. If we dip back down into 117, going to try and double dip there. So the only position we're in right now is at T-Doc. It's in the 30s, mid-30s. We're short at 853 when it broke that 860 to the downside. But it's all about NVIDIA potentially breaking right here and right now. We're up at 75s. Getting really close to this top break. It's a simple liquidity grab underneath here, higher lows into a top break, 120, the obvious next step as the even dollar. Every time I stare at a level, is it going to break it? Here we go. 98s, just broke it. Want to give these always back into the local high in there. That's about 118.60 if you're checking out at home. So NVIDIA is on the warpath, trying to get to that 120 level to set upside. So I can get it to 118. 60 is where my stop is going to be. When you get that first 40, I'm going to take 1-to-1 and then see we can go from there into 120.
All right. Let's just keep on going. Great trading over on that side. Nice to see as we put things together here again for you, right? So, all right, we'll see if that Meta can go. We just talked about that level there, 520, 519. It did bounce off of there, so definite possibilities there for a retake of Meta to the upside there as we held that 200 period moving average. And then ARM, I mean, it honestly, for me, this was exactly as it was written. We wrote down on our sticky note, and we're going to tweet it out too. We wrote down on the note there 135. So when it gets up to 135, you know we have to take that out. So 130 VWAP, that's how we trade back in one more time. I feel like more people will be using this method very, very soon, pulling back to VWAP and buying it out because it's been really, really working right there for us. So it's a good little sticky note. Couple plays there today as we'll go 2 for 2 so far, but we don't know what's going to happen. I do think that NVIDIA does have that possibility. We're now $7 in the money on Meta as it keeps on going higher and higher and higher. So far, so good here today for trading. I mean, we don't have to put on lots of trades, right? This is what we call real trading here. It's our #1 sponsor. And it's just about showing you can make trades, we can discuss them, and it's very easy for you to see where the winners are and where the losers are. So again, it's just a kind of a new thing right now, and it's been really good. Follow our trades here and on More Trader TV. You can see the dashboard right there as well. So yeah.
What happened to Roblox?
Did Roblox go down? We'll have to buy some more if it did. No, we're not buying any.
No, it's not that.
519, there it is.
Roblox. Crap.
All right, man, $7 now. We're now holding 9. Last time I said to Neil, hey, we got $8 in the money. We got $9 now as it keeps on going there. Let's see what happens with Meta as it just keeps on going, baby. What's up over there, Adara?
We're waiting here for the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI. Should be coming in a few seconds here at 9:45. We got this in here, 49.6. This is going to be exactly in line here with one of these forecasts here of 49.6. Previous number of 49.5. So pretty much in line here for that S&P Global Manufacturing PMI for the final number here for the month of July. S&P 500 continuing near high of days here. So not seeing much of an impact yet from this number, guys. Again, in line with expectations.
Ooh,
okay. I mean, inline's not going to be bad. The market is taking it. It doesn't matter what the number is. The market is trying to break out the high right here. So the NASDAQ at 1965. You take that, we're gone. 120 just broke on NVIDIA. So pre-market highs, from when we charted anyway, it's about 7 a.m., 120.50 up here. If we fail that, going to be looking dip buy back into VWAP. That's that 118.60 we were talking about before. So strong moves upside in the market. Apple, Tesla starting to go. I did have my eyes on Roblox, but I don't really see anything obvious with Roblox that I like. So yeah, it's moving, but I don't have a trade necessarily on it. Moderna, I think we got pretty fortunate that the obvious buyer at 95 ended up holding. We're right back in to retest 100, it seems like. So 100 comes in. If it fades at that level, I will look for a short opportunity. Moderna, remember, it's SSR, it's short sell restricted, so there's always a chance at a runaway bounce on that bad boy. So let's get going to the upside. We like it when the market goes up. We're not even at 1% yet. Drag them topside, everybody.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Let's keep going, man. Nice
Except for Teladoc.
You know what I'm seeing? Right now, we're in the pole position, but you guess who's coming right behind us? It's Obi. Obi right now coming from behind. Let's go, Obi. Right now, we check behind our shoulder. Oh, my God, there's Obi right there. All right, he's trying to catch up right now. Good trade there, Obi, as we continue to watch NVIDIA go to the upside. We only wrote down 118. We should have definitely had that one. Instead, our mind was on our money, and our money was on our mind. And right now, Meta is $8 in the money right now. So to be long NVIDIA here, I'd probably, again, it would be $2 in the money, which would be fantastic. But we did focus elsewhere today, and we probably should have had another look on that one as well. ARM's still going to be P&L #1 on the day here, but at the same time, it just fell through. So we did reload a little bit. It did come through back through 130. We actually get a great fill because it's earnings day and the spreads are fine. So that was a good fill through 130. I'm wondering if that was a fake break. And maybe wants to go back up. Let's try one more time. And let's just give this one to 129.50 now. And if this one loses, fine. But there's the 130. It's not a wick out or anything like that. That's a stop out. We got stopped out there at 130. But as we keep talking about on the show, if you get stopped out and you still like the trade, nothing wrong with trying to go back into it to see if you can do something again. But again, do not risk. You don't want to just put this money after that money after this money after that money, because eventually, one bad decision can cost you a whole heck of a lot. But right there, we just drop out on ARM and lose 30 cents. And now right away, we're back into the money, that 30 cents again. So let's just see if it can hold it. It looks like it's really starting to go right now with Meta. So, yeah, man, so far so good right now. Looking to get some NVIDIA as well, as that was, I said that would probably be the #1 long idea for today if you're looking in the chip space. But we are trying to pick on ARM a little bit. But that, again, to be going long on a name, this is not my style. I should not be going long, really, on a name that's down 10%. But it's my #1 P&L. Meta is, but it's still unrealized. This is a $9 winner. So we'll see what happens here with Meta as it continues higher. Probably it's time to dip by NVIDIA soon.
Yeah, it's getting close. It's not quite there. I mean, for myself, it's not there yet. VWAP is coming inbound right now. So I feel like came back to me last time, NVIDIA is going to be the next trade. It still feels that way. We're through 100 on Moderna, and you're going the other way right now. So be careful with this. I'm only shorting it if it shows weakness. It is SSR, and you're getting a pretty precipitous bounce here. So not going to fight that. Not going to stand in front of a moving freight train. You don't have to. Just because it worked once doesn't mean you have to try it a second time. Just going to double back to Teladoc here. It tried to get to VWAP. If it puts in a lower high at 850, I like a reload. If it blasts through 860, I want to get out. Again, SSR bounce play, down over 10%. Found a level. It's working, but it doesn't mean it has to work forever. It's in an upward trend. You don't want to fight this one forever. Big time movement to the upside. And we didn't really mention Google, but this is Google's chart. So yeah, this is why the market's at highs right now. Going to try to focus on NVIDIA because this is the one we want to be getting back in long. It's not flying with everything else. I might double check in a second to see what Qualcomm, AMD, and some of the others are doing. And if there is a chip name stronger than NVIDIA, don't mind pivoting if we have to.
So this is just the difference in styles, right? I hear on the midday show, and it's great, man. They'll have 50-cent winners, $1 winners, $2 winners, 10-cent winners, and it's joy and it's fantastic, and we love those kind of wins. We have a $10 winner on right now here. So, I mean, there it goes. It's a monster. It's meta. And it just stopped sort of at the highs again. So I'm debating right now if we can get this 523, 524 area. Maybe we just wind up taking that right there on meta. So, again, man, you know, trade what you're trading right now. One more day of me, and then I come back. We'll take a week off, you know, go play some baseball, go visit across the pond, and we'll see if we can have some fun over there as well. But right now, Meta is that $10 in right now, so it's been good so far. I just heard someone in the back say Qualcomm. I should look at that. All right, let me have a quick look at Qualcomm. Qualcomm does make that bounce back up. I don't really understand this name so well. You were just in that NVIDIA there, I'm assuming.
AMD's tanking.
Yeah, so NVIDIA just lost again. So lost the 118. Oh, no, sorry. We lost 119. Sorry, the level I was, that's my bad. The level I was looking at was 118. So that's what I wrote down on the sticky note. Sorry, I thought it lost 118 there. It did not. You were talking about AMD, so my bad. Yeah, it's AMD.
AMD is...
Yeah, not really NVIDIA.
AMD just broke the low. I'm not trading AMD right now. We're going to go to there in a quick second. NVIDIA just bouncing off of VWAP here. So reload NVIDIA off of VWAP, but watch out for AMD. Just like yesterday, this thing is a dog and trying to drag everything down with it, even though they beat earnings. Let's go to Dara at the desk.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade, always playing catch up in the market, missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
It's so easy till it's not, right? I mean, that's the problem. It's like, you know, you put everything together. When it works, and you look like a genius. And when you don't, when it doesn't, then you don't, right? And I mean, that's why we talk about, at least, you know, I try to talk.
That arm keystroke would have been absolutely disastrous if I didn't punch out.
Right, yeah, exactly. So there you go, right? And then that's the other thing too, is like when you're trading there, you got to be focused. You got to be able to, you know, like Neil said, man, hit the right keys. And by the way, we just put NVIDIA on the map over here. So let's go, man. NVIDIA is now on the map. It's now being traded here. I know Neil had it. We've got it again, man. We've got it real damn good right now at 118.70. And again, we get excited because we always talk about this. We trade with more shares. So when it pops in like this, this is what happens. And we get real damn excited for 50, 60 cent winners. So again, maybe that's not your style, but there's 70 cents on NVIDIA. And there it is right there one more time for us. So again, you know, we get excited, and it's a dollar winner right there. So again, you know, like we say, man, it's different, right? Teach horse how to lead a horse to water, but you got to try to teach him how to drink. And I mean, that's the end of the day, what we're trying to do right now. Meta, $10. NVIDIA, $1. ARM, now 50 cents in the money. We're going to go 3 for 3 today, and it's a big day. So I always say that. I know I always say that, but like I said, if I'm not being truthful to you guys, then there's nothing behind the show. So, you know, we build the show on integrity, and that's what we're doing right now. And there goes Meta. We said 525 would play off 515. I mean, it's Sticky Note Nation right now. And Neil, that's $13 now in the money on that one. So yes, we did get ching ching. We got reloaded. And that's another one for you there, Mr. Roberts. And it keeps going to the upside. Congratulations to everybody. Hopefully we're having big days across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Great trade. Hope everyone's having a good one there. I'm going to get right over to it. You're going to possibly see me enter into Moderna, but I'm going to be really cautious. This is really starting to scream a little bit more than I was expecting, but it's still in the pocket underneath the resistance at 102. There's a seller here at 101 to 102. If it wins, I want to short back underneath 101. If it loses, I want to back off and get away from this stock. So it's at that kind of kill zone. If we get back underneath 101, it's not size on the bid or anything like that. It's just a bit of a refresher at that level, if you know what I mean. When I say that, I just mean someone's on the bid, they get filled for like a couple of hundred shares, they don't disappear, they come right back on the bid. It's happened several times. So if that loses, I'm going to try to punch short underneath 101. It's short sell restricted, meaning you got to leave the order in there. I need an uptick to get that fill. We'll see if we get it. Moderna is going to be next on tap for me. I did miss out on ARM, the short that we wanted. But as I said, if I don't punch out, in the moment I got Teledog, if I don't punch out of ARM, this is what happened in the moment that I'm punching the wrong stock, right? So it's up to, at the end of the day, sometimes the best trade you make is the one that you don't get stubborn about. Because that went all the way to $135. It would have gone against me on a 131.50. But that was a keystricker, so I punched out for 50 cents, which was essentially the spread at that moment. Now if it comes back into VWAP, I'm looking to get filled. Trend down here on ARM. Double tap 135, VWAP, or maybe Moderna through 101 are going to be the next.
And to Neil's point, sometimes also the best trades that you make are the ones that you mean to take. And today, ARM, Meta, NVDA, all perfectly in the levels and taken, and there it goes, man. So yeah, 100%, right? Sometimes accidents happen, but it's better when you get these kind of moves to explode right there on earnings. So I'm going to get out if this trade takes out 523 right now because, again, I got bills to pay. So we're going to take this out right now and just put this in our pocket. If this breaks 522.99, we're going to get out of Meta. So that is the trail right there. So anybody that's also in a $15 winner, you may want to look at that as a level there. I'm just going to, if it breaks, that's 524 right there. We are still continuously ripping higher right now on Meta. And yeah, man, I mean, again, glad to be here, sad to be off next week, but we will enjoy ourselves. And then I'm sure, as I said right now, Obi will be taking my spot. And I'm very proud to say right now, in second place is the Obi guy right back there right now. So we have about 3 or 4 5 positive traders, so it's been so far so good for a day right now. But we are really, really motoring over on this side as it goes. So again, and this is what I mean about talking about winners and then sharing the love for others, right? Like, no problem here. I tell you, when Sharif, Adara, all these guys, we'll let Neil tell you guys his because he's right here. But, when these traders are going, there's no better spot, right? I mean, we're definitely a huge community here, and that's the best part about it. So let's just keep on loving the trading situation. We're now $1 plus in the money on NVIDIA. And I feel like all of these trades are very easy to follow. And I hope I'm articulating them well enough for you guys. And I just hope that everything is making sense and eventually turned into dollars. So that's what we're doing over here, man. It's been a really, really special day. Again, when you're $15 in the money, Neil, it's a special day. And so that's what's happening right now. And we're $1 in the money now on ARM. And it's just, things are just really, really working out. So anyways, congratulations to everybody, including Neil and everybody around here. So there it is, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe.
I was about to say, if you like the show, like the show. We say this all the time. We got the best trading community out there, 100%. We try to do our best to give you the goods. I might have just missed ARM there, but I just tried to catch ARM off of VWAP. All right, I'm not going to chase that move in. It's got a defined range 130, it seems like, to 131.5. But if I can't get the VWAP short, then we're not going to jump into it. The other option for a short is going to be AMD. AMD pivot. If AMD is going to do what it did yesterday, I did not think this was going to be an obvious short, but look at 145. Look at what it's doing now. We see 145. We short it. If we just trend down the rest of the day, then I want to look at VWAP. VWAP retracement. Simple plan. if a stock is strong, go long off of VWAP. And with that plan, Apple just retook VWAP with a monster candle. I said if I trade Apple, it's going to be Apple trending up and then dipping off of VWAP today. Said that right at the open. I had no other plans for Apple. Then when it does that, just follow along and go with the plan. I'd love to be able to get ARM though. And yeah, I'm not sure we're going to be able to catch that VWAP. ARM's spready. And when it hits a top and you try to hit the bid, sometimes it gets away from you there, which is exactly what happened, 131.5. I try to get it if we can get back to that level. Right now, we're just back into NVIDIA, and I wanted to get over to Moderna. I said if it showed a seller through that 101, now you're starting to finally get back down through. So Moderna pulling back for the first time in this bounce was the first thing we traded, looking for number 2 with happening now and economic numbers, Adara.
Quite a few numbers coming through here at 10 a.m. We're waiting for the ISM manufacturing PMI for July, which previously came in at 48.5. Consensus here, 48.8, an estimate of forecast of 48.2. We're also waiting on ISM manufacturing employment data for July. Construction spending, we just got some of these numbers in here. So we have the ISM manufacturing PMI coming in a little bit below estimates here, 46.8 versus the forecast of 48.8. We have ISM manufacturing prices paid coming in above estimates, 52.9 versus the forecast of 51.8. Construction spending month over month below estimates here, negative 0.3% versus the estimate of positive 0.2% here. ISM manufacturing new orders below estimates, 47.4 versus the forecast of 49. And ISM manufacturing employment index coming in here well below estimates, 43.4 versus the estimate of 49.2. Just to recap the main number there, though, the ISM manufacturing PMI below estimates 46.8 versus the estimates of 48 here. Bit of a move down on the S&P 500 as we get these numbers. We also did have at 8:30 a.m. the initial jobless claims coming in a little bit higher than expected. We've talked about some of these big earnings names there on that desk. We have Meta, Moderna, ARM, but also Carvana and Wayfair, some to watch as well. We have Wayfair 17.8% short float. They missed across the board, had a bit of a recovery here, now falling back down a bit, but W on watch here as a day one earnings move, as well as Carvana. This one currently up about 14%. They beat across the board here, so CVNA and W, some other earnings plays on watch, guys.
Oh, man. ARM is really getting killed right here. It is really getting falling to the downside right now. Look at ARM, absolutely tank city right there. So we took a piece out there, then we lost 130, and it is going down, down, down. Goes ARM right there. So, yeah, good stock. Glad to be positive on ARM today, but it is making that move down right there. ARM to the downside. All right, man, it is now over. It was not all a dream because it was a real trade, and we were able to get out there on Meta at 524.50 on that break through 525. So there it goes on Meta. It's a $12.50 winner right there, and it's now booked. So book it, Dano. Right there, we are now out of Meta for, maybe the biggest trade for me today, but it's only 10 o'clock. Imagine that.
I'm ashamed not to remember that reference. I should book him, Dano. That's low-hanging fruit. I can't remember what show that's from. Great trade, great reference, no questions asked.
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't even know myself.
It's not Hill Street Blues. I don't know. It's a cop show, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. That number just came out and did this to NVIDIA. So right back at that 118.60. Remember 118.60 where I liked it for a stop out? Well, that's where it seems to bounce off of a second time. So forget about VWAP. The buying is in front of 118.5. Moderna does not want to break the bottom. And someone is buying a boatload of shares that I don't want to join at 101, and they just keep holding this level. And if it breaks, it's like I want to go short underneath 101 if this guy breaks, or sorry, this order breaks. Could be anybody, could be a bot, but it doesn't seem to want to break this level at all. ARM is going to be the one that got away. Obviously, we didn't catch that short off of VWAP. Would have been nice if we did. Now we just have to be patient, wait for some kind of a pop. And speaking of pops, Tesla just went pop.
Oh yeah.
Now you can see it. To the upside. So much like Apple, if you have to join a trend. Heck, this might just be a top break, but if there's a trend to join, 230, VWAP would be the plays. Still want to try to short the pop in the weak names. That would be either AMD or ARM, whichever one wants to give me the fill. And yeah, I'm going to try to be really patient with Moderna. There's no sense, it's SSR, there's no sense trying to go short if there's a massive buyer that is basically telegraphing that they're soaking up shares at 101. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I can believe it's going to go down, but until it actually breaks this order, just got to stay patient and vigilant.
Oh, no. Good. I mean, okay. So NVIDIA just went downside there. But the thing is that I was like, why am I out? So we actually got filled there. So we got filled right there at VWAP, which was 118.80. And then we just gave up nothing at that last little bit as it breaks lower. So there it goes back down into the downside. So we are now out of NVIDIA. You know, we've got good names here today, man. NVIDIA, Meta, and ARM. Those are the three names that we've traded here. And I mean, that was a good out. Like that. And again, this is just how we have to look at things when you're trading, right? And I mean, I think it's very, very important that we understand that when we look at different stocks and what we're trying to do here is that we're day traders. So like me getting out at 424.50, you don't really have too much of an idea of like how much that maybe just saved me right there, because that's 250 now. Like we're not even getting $2.50 winners. Like, you know, those are hard to come across. And right there, just by getting out, you know, you save yourself that money back in right there. So again, a pretty good one coming through there on Meta one more time. I like that look there, Fabian. That was a good one. All right, so
yeah,
was that a mistake? I know, I like that.
No, I think that was intentional.
Yeah, AMD. So yesterday, AMD was, to take a word from Mr. Sharif over there, AMD, I think, is now the dead one, right? I mean, honestly, this was one of the biggest P&L names yesterday, and I didn't even start to trade this till later on when we broke that 48 level. And right now, it is just gone right now to the downside for advanced micro devices. So, yeah, we could have picked on this one. We didn't. But this is one that's heading southbound right now in a hurry. I'm just, again, we could do a little Barry Horowitz. We'll pat ourselves on the back because getting out of that Meta, Neil, at 525 when it's at 520, that's a $4 winner just by getting out. So, I mean, that's part of the other flip side of the game. You could have winners all you want, but until you actually either make the call and actually have the shares on or actually get out of your winners, that's the key. You know, we can all short call and everything like that, right? It's like, I was just looking at ARM and it was at 128.50, and that's when we came back from Moderna. All right. And I was like, wow, ARM is going to the downside, man. But who cares? Like, yeah, it could be like, oh, Sean, great call on the ARM short. Yeah, that's fine. I can see what's happening, but I don't have the shares on. So you got to be careful with that. And the reason why I don't have the shares on, and, you know, honest truth, was not shortable. I have the order in here. It canceled. I tried to punch 128.50 short. You cannot. Well, it didn't cancel. It just went pending.
It's SSR.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's down 10% right now. The only way that you can get short is if someone picks you up on this side. So I tried to cross into the dark pools, but it doesn't matter. You still need someone
sometimes you get it, sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's always worth putting the order out and crossing down, you know, 20 or 30 cents or something like that, just in case you get that fill. But again, this is just advice based on your share size. I mean, you're trading 1,000 shares. I don't think you want to cross down 30 cents or anything like that. But, you know, if you are in this name, it's been a good one, man. And I know you were looking short on that too, Neil, because ARM really collapsed. But it's at that level again. We've already seen this exact level, 126. This came in at 920, man.
It's also, the SSR works for bounces too. You know, like
yeah, but it's down 12. Like the thing is that I thought that's why maybe this 128 tried to hold. Maybe that was 10%, but yeah, another $2, and there's that pre-market level. So yeah, levels are holding. I think that's why we've been having a good month, right?
Speaking of levels,
holding. Yeah, go ahead.
117 on NVIDIA.
I see that
is right back in here. So it is what it is. Look, obviously 118.5, it gave VWAP and then it broke down. So you guys can see that. Next trade, maybe the 117. I was looking at Apple on the bid of VWAP, but there wasn't a bid at VWAP. So it's just a line on a chart. If we can't get some kind of strength back in Apple, the market's trying to reverse here. Looking for what is setting up for a dip buy. It might be Tesla, but I got to feel it's NVIDIA still. Like, I mean, NVIDIA 117 looks pretty good. So we'll try to catch something on NVDA. You need the market to pop to short ARM or AMD, so I'm going to back away from those. If we can find a 117 entry on NVIDIA, we'll do that. That seller did finally break here on Moderna, so it broke that 101, Immediately went back and forth. I mean, I had to get picked up. I didn't actually get filled. It went all the way down to 130 cents or something. I got filled on the way back up at 85. If it breaks out the lower high, 102, I'm getting out. If it gets to VWAP, I'm taking profit. Otherwise, let's go back over to NVIDIA and see if there's going to be any kind of a dip that we can find at that 117. It's tempting to look at ARM off that low, I'm not going to lie. But my gut reaction is try to find something stronger to bounce long if we're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way right now. I mean, exactly what Neil was saying there, honestly, is just like looking for
what is
better
strong right now?
Yeah, just looking for better, I mean, the word better opportunities maybe is not what I meant, but just looking for the best opportunities. You know, we just had that bump off ARM at that same level. I haven't even really looked at anything else since then. I am looking to actually, because AMD's weak, I am looking to get something in here at some point for advanced micro devices. I'd really like to grab a short. That just bumped back up almost, actually it did bounce back up $1. So that could have been something there on AMD. It's just so far away from anything that I would, I mean, I don't have a problem getting into a name. It's obviously, I get mocked when we have like other guests on and they're like, I don't know how you put on 100 tickets. And I'm just like, well, you know, it's working. But at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, it has to be right. And AMD down 242. I do wonder if NVIDIA, again, being the stronger name and giving us clear levels right there. Moderna's a good one. I know you just got into that. Uh-oh, what?
No, it's NIO's at that price.
Oh, no. What's the price that you like?
It's $4.20.
Yeah, remember, it's NY. Yeah.
When the last stock I'm looking at is NASDAQ,
yep.
I just type the symbol and hit enter, and I always forget that I actually
feel like that was so good for a minute, and now it's gotten. I'm going to download the new version. Because
yeah, there is a new version. I'm not on it.
New version.
That's my mistake. Like I feel like at real trading, when there's a new update to the software, you're supposed to jump to it. I just have not gone to it. I was reminded of that this morning. But this is why 420 was just pointed out to me in the chat. Not for the reason you guys are all thinking. So get that out of your heads. It's because this is support on the daily. Okay. So that's 420. It's at 420. There's not a lot of size on the bid down here, but it's a hammer candle down into it. So if it breaks back above 42, it's 3 cents worth of risk. It's that simple. If it bounces to VWAP, that's $4.29 on the way back in. So NIO down 5%. It's not looking fantastic, but I said I would take a shot at this level. Maybe I'll get a midpoint here. That would be spicy. If I can get like 21 halves. We have access to all the midpoints here at Real Trading. I'll see if I can get picked up on one. I did not. Okay, but I was able to get 22s there, but I was trying to get 21 half on NIO. I just want to also be able to sit on the bid. Hey, if it breaks 420, I'm out. I felt like this was going to be a trade for like later on this week or something. Yet here we are at 10:11, and Neo goes all the way down to that 420 level. So thank you in the chat for reminding me of this. I don't sit there with a bid, and I forgot to put an alert.
We're going to try, 141 or so here on AMD. Actually, sorry, 141. I like the break. What am I talking about? I like the break of 140, possible average to 141. I just, it's screaming down, man. I mean, this level was what I was thinking about, 140, 130 to be wrong on. So I'm feeling like that could be a level. And you actually just reminded me there when you said midpoints. Unfortunately, we had another trader that we've known for well over 10, 15 years, basically hanging it up from this office there. And it just goes by the way of pretty much most traders. So we wish him best of luck with whatever his next sort of venture is there. But he was talking about, oh man, I remember the good old days when there was rebate trading and all this kind of stuff. And that was where really, I mean, we could get back to these days, but I wanted to bring it up that we have a lot of opportunities for midpoints, like Neil mentioned, at different gateways here at Real Trading. So you have to make sure that you're checking out the guide, talk to your trading floor development team member, and get that all figured out, because we have over 50 or 60 different routes at least in the U.S. markets, and then let alone all the advancements that's been made in the TSX marketplace as far as gateways, and then you go over to Europe as well. Obviously, a lot of the first fragmentation and things like that started in the United States, so they kind of led the way, and
everyone just copied.
But definitely take advantage of that and understand that, because you'll often hear Neil and I talk about, oh, we missed that level, or I got it and he didn't, or vice versa, or I use this key and that key, and that's the kind of stuff that we share here on the floor, because sometimes a stop order, there'll just be more liquidity at the Edge X platform rather than NASDAQ or rather than NYSE or rather than ARCA or any of those. So, and you might say, oh man, the technology on this crossing order gives you a better price or a better fill or less fees. So there are a bunch of different styles to trade, and we definitely recommend you find yours and then hit the key and the platform that best suits you for your trading style. So you could definitely check us out here at Real Trading. It's the only platform that I've ever traded on. So I think it's the best.
I wouldn't know anything else.
Yeah,
I don't want to. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it's a comfort zone. It's reliability, all that good stuff. And you know, you want to be fast on your actions. No
that's a lot.
questions
You and I
asked.
have traded on another platform. We do Finico.
Oh, that's true. No, we have traded on another one.
But like on a personal level.
On a
it's
day-to-day
been-
basis,
yeah.
like every single day, I've been
With
trading
Real
the same
Trading,
thing.
yeah.
So there goes mRNA. Could not hold on. There it is. Could not hold on to that
53,
breakdown at the 101. So there is still a buyer at this 101 level, it seems. So we had the one trade. If it breaks out the top, I'm not going to fight this one at all. But did AMD break?
No, man, we just made 50 cents real quick. Like I said, I mean, I'm not going to buy lottery tickets. I'm just going to use more shares. I mean, there goes AMD. We just talked about shorting. Did we not just say right here, Patrick, everybody, that we were shorting AMD at 141? We're short 141. We just took 75 cents in 1 minute right there on that trade. So now we play for the 140 break. But yeah, I'm still playing that break, Neil. Hopefully it breaks lower. I just want to give that trade to everybody because we're out of 2/3 of this now. We're out of 2/3. The reason why I get out is because I'm already going to hit this short. So it's like I don't need to hold this trade for a hero. And I'm already adding, I'm going to add to this position. So if it bounces off of 140 again, we don't want to be in this name, right? So let's wait to see here. We'll get another one. I'll put it low. I'll put it at 140.10 right now. If we get that fill, great. We'll take it out for that 90 cents. And then if it smashes through 140, again, it's kind of ironic. We just talked about hopefully the stop orders and we use the right liquidity pools and we'll be able to get short. So I'm crossing down, just so everybody knows, I'm crossing down, I thought it was 25 cents or so on this fill. So hopefully we get that on a cross down for AMD. Here we go, guys. We're 80 cents in the money. Should we take it or should we go? We'll find out very, very soon. AMD, I'm on the bid. It's 10:15 and it's a pretty good day. It's a pretty good day. We're up right now. We're up half what we were yesterday, which is pretty good. Generally speaking, 10 o'clock is a very good time to trade. Between 10 and 10:30, I really like those times because some of the levels have been developed and Neil and myself and all of us can get maybe sometimes better ideas of levels that we like at this time. So that's just coming from me there, but everybody's going to be different, as we say. I think you agree with that. You can see levels more as the day goes on.
I like 10 o'clock's a reset for me. Anything that was an idea pre-market, I want to get back over to at 10 o'clock if it's the same setup. Just very quickly, two things. Neo just printed 19, so I'm out of it. We'll go to Neo first. ARM just came into resistance as well. But Neo, we had the long out in front. It doesn't hold the 420 level. So we're out of it. AMD just broke as well. So
baby.
ARM, AMD, both of them head to the downside. That just went to New Zealand for some reason.
Happening?
So why can't, hopefully the new version fixes that problem. But ARM and AMD both breaking to the downside
How
here.
can I go on vacation?
Just entered both of these on a 140 break. I got 89 fill, which I guess could have been a little bit better. A little bit of slippage there.
Yeah, that's a
What
great
price did
fill.
you
I got 95s, but I mean that's
Great fill. I didn't use that.
That's
day.
a good fill too. Yeah, just a matter of and again, 6 cents could mean
AJ's
something.
better.
To me, 6 cents is nothing. Obviously, I think the same thing for Neil. Would probably think that on this stock as well. But so we already got filled, man. And Patrick looks over to me and is like, "Geez, like what is even going on over there?" And hey, Patrick, man, I wish I had the answer for it. And I just said, "Man, how can I even take a vacation?" Like we just made $1.50 right there on this AMD short that we put on 2 minutes ago, and it's real. I hope you guys. I mean, we're doing this today. We have NVDA. This is Dollar Club member, right? That's already put in. $14 on $12.50 on Meta already put in and realized. ARM was choppy, man. I mean, ARM, we had a $5 winner and we took it, but then we gave some back right there. Still a positive stock for us, but we could have done better on ARM. And then AMD, I guess, is still position pending. I mean, we're up on it. It's a big stock for us right now, but we'd like to see this. Kick it. Let's kick it right now. There's the hot dog cannon again, Neil. Now we're 70 cents. I mean, Neil's got it as well. We're 70 cents now in the short here for AMD as it just continues to go to the downside, man. Marissa, phone the travel agent. We got to get this extended, man. Can we even go away? Nice move to the downside right now. 139 and change, pushing right now for AMD. Man, this is 4 for 4, and they're all super, super clean, man. Not only are these trades clean, I gave them to you before they even happened. That's the thing, right? Like that's the thing. You gotta predict trades. You gotta react to the levels that are there and take the trade. We talked about shorting AMD from time. There it comes in, breaks the levels, and boom goes the dynamite, man. Yeah. I apologize for my excitement, but the energy is real, and this happens every single day. So hit the like, hit the subscribe if you like winners, because besides, I mean, you're gonna have probably a better time next week, but this is going to be big time here this week. So enjoy it while it's here.
It's same every single day. At the end of
I meant the show.
Yeah, exactly. We're here for you guys every single day. That's what it's all about. I got out of AMD and I'm holding ARM. Someone said in the chat it's a weird fill on ARM at 128. I mean, it's not really, and I also don't have 128. But the reason for the entry, I said I was on the offer trying to grab it, but the reason for the entry is short the pop. It then failed a break of 128.5, came up, wicked underneath, go short back underneath. So it tried to break a resistance level, and then I go short into that resistance level. If it double bottoms at 126, I cover. If it busts through, we look for a place to join to the downside. So heading to the downside, down 12% is going to be them. And now we are, okay, here comes 117 on NVIDIA. Through all of this, with all of this tankage, NVIDIA hasn't even broken 117, guys. So NVIDIA is still very much in the pocket, although it might not hold up. Not with the way the chips are going down now. Sometimes the rising tide lifts all ships. I don't know what the reverse of that is, but I don't know. Whatever you want to call it could be happening to NVIDIA. Testing lows on ARM, AMD's going down. Here's NVIDIA 117. If it can try to bounce, it's about the only thing that looks half decent for it. Let's get on over to the green screen. We've got Adara and the small cap recap, let's say.
Pretty rough morning for the Russell 2000 thus far. We have the IWM here at day's lows, running into a bit of resistance, as you can see here, just below that $225 area. So that could be an area to watch out for the IWM. Right now, though, well below that range, down over 1% on the day as of right now. We have Biomea Fusion, first small cap gapper to talk about here. This one up more than 30%. They did report earnings yesterday here, smaller than expected loss per share for Q2, and they do have a short float of about 22%. We also have your BBLG, Bone Biologics. This one has run in the past. Not any catalyst for this one today, but a decent amount of social media attention. They also do have a market cap of about $2.38 million and a float of just over 1 million shares. So small float for BBLG. Last but not least, Immuneering, IMRX. This one received fast-track designation from the FDA for its pancreatic cancer treatment. They have a short float of about 9.7%. So quite a few names to keep an eye on here, guys.
All right. Yeah, always opportunities, as Neil and I had mentioned over and over again, right? I mean, this is what trading is all about. It's all about opportunities, right? You saw NEO. I mean, a good example was, I know you're out of it right now, but we could trade any kind of symbols right now. NEO down here at 420, a level I know Neil likes. That's a good level right there. NVIDIA, AMD, like have the opportunities to do everything and try everything out, right? You never know what style is going to be yours and how you can make that cash. Let's just talk a little bit about AMD right now. We are short, obviously, at 140s. We've already taken it out. We haven't taken it out. We've taken out 40%. I am bidding some I mean, we took it out from here. This is a bit. It's a big one again, but we're going to wait to see if we can get a 139 teen. No, sorry, we're at 139 flats right now. Let's see if we do get a push down here in this market. I mean, there goes the short back in for us one more time. So again, I'm staying away from NVIDIA. I know Neil was in that name or
it
out
just
now.
took the low. I covered two things.
There it goes.
Hey, quickly up there.
Yeah, go.
So I covered 126 ARM on a bit of a bounce there, and then AMD. Check that. NVIDIA Wow. That tried to hold on to 117 and just took out the low. So we're now out of NVIDIA. Obviously, all the good work did not get the original dip buy. That's probably, when I look back, this is the missed opportunity for the trade. It was right here where we needed to grab it because your best win on the long was obviously at the open. Underneath 117, not going to fight it. You know, that's the reality. Like, that was that supply zone that we liked for the bid. And if it can't hold this, and I'm not that interested in holding much of anything, so we're going to hold on to AMD, see where it happens to go. Don't really know where the bottom is going to be on that one. And as for ARM, I still want to short the available pops. And we liked ARM for a short. Didn't quite get it at VWAP here, but if you're going to continue the breakdown, if it loses 125, that's a key level into 120. So 125, I don't like breaks on ARM because the liquidity is not necessarily the best for a breakdown trade. So hold on to AMD, look for another opportunity to get a bounce on ARM here if we even can. And I do still want to, I still like Moderna for a curl. I just think a little more patience is going to be required. It's got the same buyer again at 101. So what was holding before and then false broke, it's exactly the same thing happening right here at 101. I feel like when it loses this buyer, you're going to be underneath $100. So I'm going to keep taking pot shots at it on these breaks. It's flat bottom breaks over here in Moderna, but still, somebody is boatload of shares here on this bid.
All right, so just a quick little update here as that siren means it's a new position. We're long Apple off 222. I don't know. It just went 10 cents or 15 cents there. We didn't take anything out. If it can get back into the 220s, let's try to take something out right there on Apple. We're just seeing if it can hold 222. It's just that there, well, it didn't hold. So there it goes. So we are in and out of Apple. Good thing we kind of talked about that right there, else you would have been like, what just happened? Oh, okay, is that a hold right there on Apple? We'll try this one more time. This is dangerous. And again, remember I said to you, I can really start to feel when we're losing our way and what we're trying to do. Well, we might be doing that with Apple right now. So let's just put a stop in and respect that recent bottom, 221.74. Let's get out if it breaks that again. We're just going to try it. The market just did bounce back up. And in fairness, we told you we had 40% left. We got another fill out there right now for this stock, which is AMD. So we get that out right there at 139.35 or so, as that looked like it was trying to absorb there. So decent out. We'll see if that one can fill upside as well. Maybe get a little more short if we can get up to that 141 area back in there. But here goes Apple down to 222. So this one, we're red on it. We are red on Apple because we just took that hit. I mean, we talked about it. That one took about 1 minute there. So just like when stocks go up and we celebrate them and we get out real quick, we got to do the same thing on the way out, right? And so here it comes right down. So we're going to break 79. We're out. So see what I'm saying? No, we did not get punched out right there on Apple. So let's figure
Softy might be
why that just didn't punch me out. All right, let's, 221. Okay, we'll put that order in right now and get punched out of Apple. But it's the same logic. And remember I said, like, we can start to feel when things aren't going right. Let's not dig into this Apple name here for too much. So that's something that we're looking at right now, Apple, for the long, but it just did come into a break zone. So pretty lucky there. We'll get in and out there on Apple. So good trade. We'll punch that out at 222 and just regroup here on Apple.
Yeah, I think I just sort of said under my breath, Microsoft might be the one here. Microsoft up 2% above VWAP. We just did this on the NASDAQ. So wick the bottom and then hold. If you hold support underneath the above the overnight lows, obviously that's a bullish thing. And what's the strongest big cap tech stock in the NASDAQ right now? I think it's either Google or Microsoft, and Microsoft holding 425. A lot of things are bottom feeders right now, and Microsoft is not one of them. It's got to be able to pivot to something which is a little bit stronger. I look at NVIDIA does seem to want to hold. Like, if that's a wick out and a hold above 117, then I still like the support level. But you see it immediately failing back down underneath it, and I'm still looking to short some ARM if we can get that. But you got to be patient. I think you got to be patient with this SSR bounce play. If it starts to bounce higher, you can't just sit on the offer. You got to try to let it curl because it can rip faces off even down 13%. So be very, very careful about any of these down 10% names trying to take some fade trades. So I think I'm going to put some attention toward Microsoft for the first time today. Let's see if it can hold on to VWAP. The market is looking weak. Still no 141 for maybe a reload on AMD. But you know what? Okay, I want to be on Microsoft, but it just put in a 140.5. I think maybe just reload there, tighten the stop, and see what can happen if it gets to this 140.5 on advanced micro devices.
Yeah, that's the kind of talk for me right now too. Yeah, I mean, I like that talk, tightening up stops right now. I mean, if there's levels that you're uncertain of that may or may not be coming into play, watch out now because the market just went red. You know, so sometimes you gotta watch out. I mean, just like we said, sometimes it's hard to put your net from green to red and red to green. Well, it's not that hard to go from green to red, I guess. But red to green, the same thing with the market here. It just turned red. So it's going to take a minute and a reason to get back to the upside right now. So Apple, with earnings coming tonight, not printing the way maybe, you know, we had hoped it would off of that 222 level. So we're out right now 5 cents. Let's see what winds up happening on Apple. AMD, it looks like that was a great reload level there, and we just spent too much time on Apple, but that was a good one. So if you're still looking short, feel like this is the right name here, AMD to the short side. It just tried to bump up there with the market and went the other way. So AMD short side for sure, and just hold on to that. I don't even have any more bids on AMD, so let's see if this one really wants to work for us and get back into the downside right now for advanced micro devices. Meta, what an out there, what an in, right? But Meta right now has fallen back in, so into 513 again. This could be a spot where we think about reloading. So yeah, I don't have to think about it for too long or too hard here, but it's not a horrible spot. I mean, Meta's also at a decent spot right now for a possible reload. So yeah, I think we could do it. Oh, by the way, AMD right now is $1. It just broke is thinking about breaking 139 right now. I'm not going to add to this short. We're already short at 140. Like I mentioned, I like the position here. We'll see if it wants to do something. But for right now, that's part of it, is to see if we can do something.
It just broke.
It just broke. So yeah, again, see, like, there it is. It's a nice move. Did you get that short? Or you're already short? Or
already
good. Yeah, same. So I didn't. You didn't punch more, did you? Or you did try?
No, not there. I tried to punch here. I tried to punch up here at, come to AMD for a quick second. Can we come to my chart? I tried to punch here when it was reversing off of 140.40 and I didn't get the fill, but I wasn't punching the 139 break. This is a time of day that I'd rather short pops than hit breakouts or breakdowns. So in trends, I'd rather short a pop. I'd rather buy a dip if something is actually trending to the long side, which you're not really finding a heck of a lot of that. So didn't really get any more of AMD. It's still looking very, very ugly for them. And for the first time today, we're gonna go to Darren in a quick second. For the first time today when this loads, I'm gonna point out, for some reason, nobody is selling Intel, and I have no idea why. Maybe it's because they have earnings. And I had a 30-40 level that I think mattered before. If it can somehow break out back above this, if a stock isn't making fresh lows when every one of its cohorts is getting crushed, then there's somebody that seems to like the bid, and maybe that's something to do with the earnings. I don't know, but 30-40 looks like a pretty key level. Yeah, we should have punched that AMD.
Tanking right
No, that was actually a good punch. You would have had an immediate, like maybe scalp trade in there, but I'm going to wait for a dip or a pullback to short the pop here in advanced micro devices. Let's go to Adara. It is 10:30. Time for a little bit of crypto action.
Yeah. Wow.
We have a very large earnings night coming up across the market this evening, but also both Marathon Digital, MARA, and Coinbase, COIN, are set to report. So we're going to do a quick dive here into crypto earnings with Riot from yesterday. Riot Platforms here, they did miss their earnings per share and for sales. Larger than expected loss per share, 32 cents versus estimates of a 16-cent loss. Sales here at 70.018 million, missing estimates as well of 72.2 million. We'll have to see how Coinbase and Marathon Digital fare when they report this evening after the bell. So quick earnings spotlight on the crypto space. In terms of Bitcoin itself, trying to hold on to this level of support on the daily chart around that 64,000 level. This is our fourth straight candle to the downside if we hold these levels. So we'll have to see how BTC does, if it's able to hold on to that 64,000 or fall a little bit below back to that previous area of support around 60,000 here. So BTC at a bit of a key area on the daily chart. Bitcoin down about 3% right now on the day. Ethereum down almost 5% on the day, and that weakness being seen throughout a lot of these crypto names here. Ripple down 8%, Solana down more than 7%, Dogecoin down 6%. So lots of weakness in the crypto space. We head into pretty big earnings night and interesting week for the market, guys.
We just took $2 on AMD. I mean, yeah, interesting movements all over the place right now. AMD, let's go, man. That's a diamond hand trade right there. as it continues to make that move lower. So watch out now as we wait for a possible move even more now in the space. We did go long finally on the futures. So we're long down here on the TQs, but this is, again, a pretty slippery slope as we just keep on saying the same stuff over and over again when we watch out for this market. So I'm going to get out here about 10 or 15 cents lower than where we are. We took a little bit of a profit up there in the 60s, but it looks like right now the NASDAQ is making that move back in. So not great performance right here early. That's not early in the day. I guess it's 10:30. It's funny. I said the best times were 10 o'clock to 10:30, and now we're really starting to ramp up all over the damn place. But there's a nice move on the Qs, right back up. We just got a nice fill up top there. What did we get? We got 69s right there. So I don't know what just bumped there, but we get it now on the TQs. Let's see if we can get a win over here right now on TQQs. There it is, man. Nice little 20-cent winner on the market. We just bought that dip. We're 20 handles in the money or so right now.
Yeah, good look on that one. Look, I bounced off of 138. I just trailed out of AMD and then got back into ARM as ARM broke 125. So AMD bounces and trails out, and then ARM breaks the low and continues lower. So they're kind of going in different directions for at least a couple of seconds here. But if we break 124, we're going to still try to see if we can hold this to the downside. Obviously, we didn't get the short the pop back at 128. But I just wanted to point this out because Moderna, it's still happening on mRNA, and this is now since 950. Someone has bought a few million shares here at 101 on Moderna. I tried to short it the first time it broke. That was right here. It didn't fall apart. I feel like the floodgates are going to open up. It's a flat bottom break on Moderna. When it happens, it's still SSR, but wow, it's complete insanity, that stock. Somebody really, really wants to buy Moderna. Probably. Is that a Kathy Wood name? I don't even know if it is. It might be. Microsoft bounced off VWAP, but at the time I was looking at ARM and AMD, so we're not going to get anything in Microsoft off VWAP as we're still focused on the chips, which they've been the ones that are tanking at this moment. But Microsoft, good bounce. It looks like it's a very strong one here today. Yeah,
well, we only got a third left now of this TQQ trade. It just popped huge there. And in a market that's red, and we talked about it, remember I said the NASDAQ's probably going to turn red today. If it does, may not get back up there. So we got to start to fade pops like we've been doing. We're $2 in the money on AMD, and we just took out almost everything up here on the TQs. So, I mean, you could see we have a bunch of outs. I know it's hard to see all the time, sometimes, or not all the time, sometimes when we zoom in this much. But there we go. That's a 92. That's an O's fill. I'll give you the fills exactly. We have an 80, a 91, and a 98 fill right there. So yeah, man, pretty good. We're happy with that performance right there. But we'll wait to see.
It's not fair.
Yeah, I know it's not fair. But we'll wait there. Look at that move on AMD coming through right now. I mean this is not fair. We should have more shares of AMD, but. We hit it yesterday. We really crushed it. And now we're $3, $4 in the money again on this from that 141. So it just keeps on going, Neil, man. I
knew this sucker was going to break, but it's such an obvious level on Moderna and its SSR that getting that fill was always going to be near impossible. Like it doesn't hold for 40 minutes and then break, and then it's easy to get a fill in underneath 101. So the first time was no good. The second time, it was immediately at $100. Instantly. It was at 101, broke, and it was at $100. And unless you were offering crossing down $1, which I'll tell you right now, I don't think I've ever done on a $100 stock. If it gets back up to 100, maybe I'll try to short that. I still want to be short the name, but you guys can see SSR head to the downside. ARM is still tanking. AMD still breaking down through 138. NVIDIA is still heading to the downside. Just a matter of getting back into some of these shorts if we can. And I wanted to add one thing to the list. If a stock is not making fresh lows with the rest of the market, maybe something is good with that stock. Roblox has caught a bid. We haven't talked about this one since pre-market, I think, but it's holding on to VWAP as we speak. So I think if this can maybe break it out, you're looking for names that are holding VWAP here that have upward trend since the open. Oddly enough, Roblox is one of them. So go figure. Roblox breaks it out at 420. Sorry, check that, 40.20. It would look pretty spicy, at least to me. So Roblox back on the radar. Moderna will have to try to catch ourselves back into this trade somewhere, but it's falling like a rock now.
Yeah, I got to pay more attention to what I'm doing over here. So we're $2 in the money on AMD, and we just bought some NVIDIA. But I just said to myself, like, I'm not even paying attention. I gotta start to do a little bit more work here, because just because NVIDIA is dropping down doesn't mean we start to sit here and buy it. You know, on the 20-minute chart, we can see it, man. I mean, it's down into here. I feel like the 50-period moving average is at 114.50. That's probably a little bit of a better buy. And then you have 114 right there, was the jump off that created this to 120. So let's see if that can hold. So I think we're a little bit too early, maybe. Well, we're in it, but we may be a little early on this NVIDIA trade. So let's get ready to see if this does want to pop up. Let's take this out right there. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. Starting to go back up now. We'll see if it wants to, though. It is NVIDIA, and there it goes, man. It's climbing to the high side right now for us. We are long right here on NVIDIA. So far, so good on this trade. We just bought it. We're now 40 cents in the money. Let's take another piece out. Why not? 40 cents. We'll take it. Nice little buy there on NVIDIA as we go over. Yeah. Maybe I'm a guy. I got this. Over now for ad read and sector watch.
This part of the show brought to you by Stocks.com. Want a chance to win $1,000 every day? Stocks.com is giving out $1,000 daily, and entering is super easy. Predict the stock price and after earnings reports. Today, we're looking at Apple. All it takes is 30 seconds to join. Just go to Stocks.com, hit sign up, and hit the Make Prediction button, and potentially win $1,000. It's that simple. Each day, you get one free ticket to predict. Want more chances? Share your referral link and get 5 extra tickets for each sign up. Go to stonks.com. Don't miss out, and good luck. In terms of the sector recap here, a lot of these sectors, as we have them move down in the market, going to be red to reflect that. Electronic technology weak across the board here with a lot of these chips trading to the downside. Qualcomm, a post-earnings name, notably down 6% here. Finance, pretty red. Producer manufacturing, with the exception of GE, pretty red across the board. Energy, minerals, health services, consumer durables. Transportation, all notably weak. Some strength, though, in some of these other sectors, most notably here in utilities, health technology, and technology services. Technology services pretty strong here, led by Meta after earnings. Google and Microsoft strong here as well. Both names have already reported, so a little bit off the hook there. Health technology notable as well here. We do have some weakness, of course, in Moderna after earnings, but Eli Lilly, positive here. We did have their tirzepatide apparently showing some positive results for heart health. So good look here for LLY on their weight loss drug, guys.
Eli Lilly's bounce on the daily was at the perfect spot. But I'm just letting everyone know I'm making my first prediction on Apple right now at stonks.com. And I'm going to have a little bit of fun with it. It's at 4. At the end of the day, it's not where it is at 4 o'clock. It's where it is at 4:30, 224.69. So I'm taking my shot, my predictions in, make yours. I just have some fun with it. I think Apple earnings are going to be exciting. They're a little bit later on, so when we do the aftermarket show tonight with Adara and Chris Brecher, we might have to sift through a heck of a lot of things before we even get to Apple. So Roblox, let me zoom it so you can see Roblox. Actually, not too far out. All those wicks, that's the problem. Okay, so anyways, there's Roblox, high or low, trying to hold on to VWAP as we speak. ARM still looking pretty decent to the downside. I want to check Microsoft to see if it's still holding VWAP. Microsoft's still holding VWAP. So we're not really looking for anything new. Maybe a bounce play off VWAP if Microsoft can do it. And I still want Moderna.
You can do it.
Moderna, oh man, Moderna's still going to the downside. Okay, so.
Love that short.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a chance to play off of VWAP on Moderna. I'll zoom in so you can see here. But that flush through 101, it is absolutely cratering. I know it's down 18% and it was down at 95 earlier, but I want to get back into this off VWAP if I get the chance. So the first, it hasn't even had a green candle since it broke. I think the first available green candle, I'm going to look to short the top of it. Try to keep it as simple as possible. I think it's in a downward trend, which means I want to short the first available pop. Short the pops, Roblox holding VWAP for now, but the market still pressing lower and lower and lower. I mean, it's one of those days. I mean, Powell sometimes, he'll pump us, and then the next day or two, you'll get the dump. I feel like usually it's a couple of days, not the next day.
We're going to, yeah. I don't know. I feel kind of like it is the next day, kind of. I don't know. I mean, we have to.
I have not tested that. I'm literally just. Anecdotally, I'm saying.
Yeah, same thing. I'm not sure. All right. So, but what I am sure about, do I have NVIDIA on my screen? Yes, is that this break is real and it's going to be happening right now. So watch out here for an NVIDIA breakdown. now through 115. So we said we would look at this down here at 115. I mean, this is a pretty epic flush just that's been happening. I mean, yeah, there it goes. Just yesterday, though, we had that play up 12%. Looks like now it just wants to head downside. Let's flip it over and try a little bit of a short here. You know, let's not layer into this or anything like that. Let's just flip it up now. It just broke. Let's see if we can go short and make some of that money back. So we just lost there 35 cents or so on that break. So now we are short back into this, but we're only short right here at 85. So, you know, down to 50 might be one stop. And then if we can get even lower than that, then yeehaw. So our net is going down because we just took a hit there on NVIDIA. But the good thing about it is we're still $3 in the money on AMD to the short side. So that's a play here that we can sort of rest our laurels on a little bit because once again, we nailed this stock. We nailed it yesterday. We nailed it today. And we've been doing fine, man. I mean, we'll be up on NVIDIA, Meta, obviously, ARM. We talked about that. We've lost on Apple. We try to defend that 222. We talked about that. Now we're out of the way, not building up, you know, losing trades there over and over and over again. But there goes NVIDIA short, and here goes AMD real short. I mean, AMD is now $3 in. NVIDIA, all right, so here's the pop back up through 515. So this is what we have to be careful about now because we know this name is much stronger than the market. It doesn't look like it right now, but look, NVIDIA, if the market goes, this name's going to run a lot quicker than the market's going to run. So you got to watch out for that. I might just play, I mean, I don't want to get in and out so fast here, but I feel like we can't be too stubborn. If I know that this name's going to possibly be strong, what about that 115.50 or so area coming into play? So that could be a good little stopping spot for us there on NVIDIA. And I talk like this and we're out of the money now, 11 cents. So let's wait to see here on NVIDIA that just went top to bottom $5. Let's not worry and cry over spilt milk because right now it's a winner all of a sudden.
I don't like it when milk spills. It's not worth crying over. But
That's right. It's definitely not worth crying over.
It's not worth crying over. But I don't like wasting any food. But
no, that's
it is what it is, man. It's the absolute worst. But so Roblox in here. It just bounced again off VWAP. And again, the scaling, I have to zoom really far in to get the scaling better on the chart. It did just tag the quarters.
Boosh.
So I'm going to go back and forth off this 40 to 40, 30. ARM is now absolutely, I mean, everything is flushing. Now you're going to get 123. I think 120 is a reasonable spot. There just hasn't been another pop to get back into it just yet, anywhere near that 125. So you're still flushing into the downside. Hang on to your butts. Hang on to your shorts. I am back into Moderna off of VWAP, but the chips are in the market are absolutely flushing in here. So we'll see what happens. I'm not even on the bid of Microsoft at this point. Microsoft looks like it's about to lose VWAP. So I wanted to see it hold. Now it's kind of holding here on Softy. All right.
All right. All right, well, we just told you about why we're not scared of holding something 11 cents against us. There goes NVIDIA. I mean, have confidence, have faith. We reloaded it twice right there. So when it screams to the downside, and we're getting creative over here, baby. I like it, man. Give these men and women a raise over there. All right, so here comes down to the downside right now. Throw some super chats or something, man. Ramin and Fabian over there killing it with all the sound effects. But there it goes to the downside. Ciao, we'll see you around, my guy. It's NVIDIA now 70 cents in the money and pushing lower. Again, I tweeted out, sometimes too easy, right? I mean, that was just a reversal play. Well, there we go. Let's take it out at 30. Some piece out right now. We're out of 55% of this name. You know what, guys? Honestly, I have to continue to do this as we get to the downside here. Let's take a piece out. There it goes. Huge move to the downside right now for NVIDIA. I like to show my P&L. I feel like that's part of it. We hear Dara doesn't want to show it, but that's because she's talked about that, right? When you're kind of in a little bit of a slump or something like that, sometimes you want to hide the P&L and make better decisions and not necessarily look at your P&L. But when you're hot fire, sometimes it's good looking down and seeing, okay, let's be a little humble here and see exactly what's in the blotter and make sure, because you can easily get, torn up. Like, how many shares am I trading with? What are the proper levels? Do we have another Dollar Club winner right now as we clear our throat right there? what is it, DJ Cool or whatever? Let me clear my damn throat again right now. $3 on AMD,
cool.
$12.50 on Meta earlier, NVIDIA now $1. So things are just working out really, really well. And yeah, man, we will protect everything. And the one thing that we didn't get to yesterday that I showed live anyways, wow, now we are really tanking with NVIDIA as well, is what's for lunch. Chicken coq au vin right now today. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, as we get ready to go to London, and not Paris, but shout out right now to the Olympics as they are going on in Canada. Got a couple more medals there.
You know what today
France
starts?
doing really well.
Track and field starts today. So I start watching it. I start watching it here.
All right.
The decathlon's tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I'm watching
Canada.
it
We're
all.
getting 2 medals in the decathlon. I'm calling it right now. 2.
All right, good, man. Yeah, let's hope for 3.
So
all right, there's a nice move down. Hold on, we're not even
3.
Don't worry, man, guy. We're not done lunch quite yet. We also have steamed whole grain rice with steamed vegetables. We just took $2 on NVIDIA, but that's what's for lunch. All right, Neil, kill him with kindness. Let's go. $3 in the money now with AMD.
Yeah, so AMD's flushing. I'm out of AMD. We went over to ARM. That's about $1.50. Moderna just gave 99s and then printed 98, so it's trying to flush again. Remember, I missed the crap out of that at like 101, but it ends up holding VWAP in here, and it's trying to tank. Big time buyer at 95 as well. So anytime I see a big refreshing buyer today on Moderna, it's an out. After what I saw at 101, let's be real. If somebody likes it that much, who am I to say that it's not going to bounce off that level? So still heading to the downside is the market. I finally got back in mRNA. As I said, ARM is going down. And I wasn't going to bid Microsoft unless I saw absence of green candle on top of VWAP means no long. Simple as that. I liked it as long as it held, but did it hold? Like, does it look like it's holding? It doesn't look like it's holding at all to me. So maybe we wait for 418 on Microsoft. I have a nice pretty line down there, but that's $4 away. Let's go over to the desk. We've got Money Talks with Adara.
Bit of a bounce here for the DXY. Again, as yesterday, we were really trying to hold on to that 104 level, holding on to it as of right now for the US dollar here on the daily chart after 2 days straight of downside, including a big red candle yesterday when we had that FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell saying that they have not, their potential rate cuts are on the table there for September. So potential September rate cut. We had Bloomberg reporting this morning that apparently the Fed futures or Fed swaps have fully priced in 3 rate cuts by the end of the year. So lots of potential dovishness sentiment at least being read by the markets. We did have some economic data earlier today. Initial jobless claims at 249,000 versus estimates of 236,000, coming in a little bit higher than expected. We also had as well here the ISM manufacturing PMI at 10, lower than expected, 46.8 versus estimates of 48.8. Tomorrow, though, we'll get some key data at 8:30 a.m. with the non-farm payrolls coming in there. Analysts are looking for 175,000. We also have the unemployment rate expected to come out as well, looking for 4.1%. So lots of data on watch, guys.
Thank you very much, Dara. Yeah, lots to watch out for today. Obviously, with the big earnings aftermarket, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on Amazon and Apple. Although there hasn't been a single eyeball on Amazon this morning because, hey, they haven't reported yet, and a heck of a lot of other stuff is moving a heck of a lot faster. So you got to go where the action is going to be, which is right here on this program, and of course, in the chips. And yesterday in the afternoon was all good to the upside for the chips. Today in the morning, it is all good to the downside for the chips. Sometimes that's just how it is. Why am I on Moderna? I meant to be over on advanced micro devices, and I didn't actually hit enter. So there hasn't been another pop of any, I guess, what's the word I want to use? Of any juice. This is a very, the word I want to use is linear move to the downside. Like there's nothing parabolic about it outside of a couple of big candles in there. So when this is happening, I feel like if it makes a big move up, there might be like a rubber band style trade. What I mean is if it does a big pop, and you go into like 138.50 or 60 or like 139, there might be a quick scalp trade to the short, but it feels like at some point, you can't just go linear to the downside. There's going to be some buyers, I think, that express themselves here on AMD. You can talk about levels till we're blue in the face, but on the daily chart, this is one at 137.5 on the daily. So it is one that was previously big. That's why I'm looking at a pop here on AMD to maybe get back in a little something something, maybe 139, but that's just best guess because it kind of stuck around there the last time.
Yeah, we all right, we're not nervous. Oh gosh. Yo, what's up, Randy? We're leaving in an hour, my guy. We'll go get some of that barbecue. So no worries about that. Okay, so just real quickly here, we haven't even looked at Tesla today, Randy. So I'll probably have to do that
because the chips have
been too busy doing other things, my guy. You know what I mean? Right now, chips with some dip right here, and we got NVIDIA not dipping. We got that fill at 113.50 right there. I mean, you guys saw me take it as it goes into the downside. So we have reloaded just a little bit here on NVIDIA. Now the thing is that the only reason we went short, man, is that we broke through some of these levels. So now we're starting to come back upside. We bounced completely off the 200 period. Let's now wait to see if there is a reload opportunity a little bit higher. I want to get reloaded in and around 115, 115.20, something like that, to give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. And what I mean by that is like, can't let NVIDIA get away from you, but at the same time, you have to take the proper amount of shares so that, when it does make moves like this, you have some on, but understand that, the move could go the other way against you real quick. So it's like a happy medium from the right amount of shares to the right risk to where you're trying to make money if there is a big move, but then you don't want to throw back sort of the money that you've made on the idea in the first place, just because like you can go 1 for 2 and get absolutely killed because you're one, and this is why traders lose. I mean, I've looked over thousands of traders' numbers and obviously analyzed all of this as well. And that's why the ratio that you go is not overly important. And that's why I'm trying to get you guys to, not get anybody to do anything, but just understand that like when we talk about positions and what I'm trying to do, you guys do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, everybody like right there, like see, I just took a piece off right there for 40 cents because little nervous about that 115 area. So let's take a piece out. If it does drop in, then we'll be able to hold it. But at the same time, you can go 1 for 2. And what I mean by that is like right there. See how I just took 40 cents on that? All right, if I reload this at 115.20 and I don't get out till 116, well, that's going to be an 80-cent hit on the full load because I've reloaded it. And now all of a sudden I'm short my full default and I just lost 80 cents. Meanwhile, I just took 40 cents on a third of it. So that's not, that math doesn't work out. So the more you can get close to some of your targets, better to be wrong on bigger shares, less pennies. But at the same time, you do want to be able to hold something. And I think a good example of that would be MetaTrade that we put on. We only have 5 minutes left, and then we go over to the big guys over here. But get some out on the way up, but then hold for that $13 or $14 winner. And then when you're wrong, like we are here, get out again. So lose $1 or whatever, but make sure that you still, reward yourself on both ends of the scale. So we'll only be red on one name today, actually, and it's Apple. So AMD, P&L almost number 1, actually. It's almost beating Meta right now, believe it or not. ARM was a great trade long until we lost it there, and we tried to punch short. SSR says net pas to that one. And then Meta, I mean, come on. We'll see if we could do that again. No, Kathy, your teledoc is something else. All right, and then NVIDIA, we're in it right now. I don't need to spin anything for that. You guys can see the profits there. And then our TQ trade was good until we lost it, and there's another example. It loses it and we get out. So profitable all across the board today, but not Apple, the one that we didn't discuss yet, because this one was just too much back and forth here at 222 and couldn't get going. So, that's the negative stock for me today. Jerome, yeah, we had a heated discussion last night.
Come on, Jerome.
I would have rather him just gone yesterday instead of waiting for September, but he told me his reasons again, and it made a lot of sense. So we'll wait to hear what happens with Jerome come September.
Ideally, he knows what he's doing. I'd like to hope so.
Yeah, I would think so.
So speaking of the NASDAQ bouncing off VWAP here, and also yesterday morning support. So yesterday morning support and VWAP, a little bit of a bounce. There was this that just happened. There was this that just happened on ARM. As a lot of times, like things aren't this obvious. Look, ARM could continue to go down, but that is a volume spike as big as anything since about 936, right through 122, and right back up through 122. So I'm out of ARM. Sometimes that's a reversal candle. Sometimes it's not. It looks like one to me, so I'm out of it. I do that 10 times out of 10. If I see something at a low like that, when the market's at the low, get the you-know-what out of Dodge. If we see 120 on ARM, That's this level here. So 120, it was a bit of a reversal. This was 120 when it lost it, and this is 120 when it broke out. Might start looking for the SSR bounce again on ARM, down 15% and still falling. The only one was at the open. Then there was a good one at 126. I think 120 is as good a shot as any. So we're back into Moderna for the third time here today, off of VWAP, looking for that 95 where there was a buyer pretty strong there before on mRNA. If there is a long, I think there's like SSR bounces. There's like maybe Microsoft throughout lunchtime. Well, okay, we're not going to get Microsoft 418 as long as it's holding VWAP, so we'll throw that out the window and maybe just talk about VWAP here on Microsoft. Is Microsoft holding higher lows when the market's at the low? Certainly a good day for Microsoft, but since the opening top, lower highs and lower lows. What it needs to do now, at least for me to like it, is I'm just going to make this kind of quick and dirty like that, is what it needs to do is like, yeah, break out the top of this channel, or I want to be buying at the bottom. Like I don't want to be buying up here to stop out down there. If I'm going to stop out, I want to be buying at the bottom of the channel. Or it breaks out the top of the channel when we look long. So only one short left, and it is in Moderna where everything started for me.
All right, yeah, we've got the two big ones on right there. Good trading over there on ARM, obviously, as you can see. That one sort of go to the downside.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one there.
The stock.
As it keeps on going down, lower, 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 lower. All right, so we have a good little trade happening on NVIDIA. We've already sort of broken this down for everybody. We're bidding 11s, believe it or not. There it is, yes, sir. So we'll put NVIDIA. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate for me as well because we talked about buying some of this dip down there at 104. We did not get anything out, obviously, as the market was only there for a minute. To the upside today in and around 120. Double Sean is never a good idea. Here we go to the downside right now for NVIDIA. It's now $1 in the money. We're $3 in the money on an AMD. And I put the stop here at the 50 period. I feel like we could just kind of respect that. We'll be going out to pick up some of that barbecue. So I've already put my stop order in. 138.50 right there possibly coming into play. So we will watch out for that one. And if that plays, that plays. So 138.50 right there is the stop. We're now $3 in the money. And again, when names get a little bit extended down like this, we should take some profit. Remember that sort of talk that we had about protecting our nets and protecting our necks. Shout out to Wu-Tang. And you got to make sure that, you know, just like they did, man, you got to diversify your portfolio. Dave Chappelle there. Wu-Tang Financial is a great skit. Right there, and potentially when I stop working here, I will take my abilities over to Wu-Tang Financial and see manage some money over there.
Diversify your
bond. But yeah, so right now, wow, NVIDIA still going. And I know it's past 11. Actually, I don't know that. I'm just noticing now.
I just noticed.
You have to be able to flip up your game. That's the benefit. Like right now, P&L number 3 will be NVIDIA, and we had lost on it. We had long. Right, long there, lost, then flipped the script. You know, have the ability to go the other. We're $4. I looked over to Neil before. I was like, hey, look, man, we're total $9 in the money on everything. That was $9.40. Hey, right now we're $5 in the money on complete opposite. We were $9 in the money on longs and cashed that out. Now we're $5 and $6 in the money now, $5 in the money on a combined short, and they're in the same space. It's no, you know what you're looking at, know where you think the market's going. That's part of the battle. It's not just calling stocks, man. You got to have the right flow. And I had clearly said this. If the market goes red today, it's probably not coming back. Well, now you're 1% in the money if you took that. So, I mean, that's the trade today to be short the market. I made money long the market. That was not a mistake because we're up, but probably should have been looking short. So, wow, man, we're now $3.50 in the money on AMD. Where will it stop, Neil?
I'm not wagering a guess because I think if you're trying to pick a bottom today, you're just kind of throwing darts. So hang on to your butts, hang on to your shorts. Adara's got one on Tesla. Good luck there. 224.44. I like that nice round number. Like. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Good luck, everybody. Let's get on to the professor and Adara on the midday. Good luck, everybody.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade for